Just kidding.
What's up, Cam? How you doing, buddy? Let's make sure this appears right on the... There we go.
I thought it was going to be PvP Destiny. I had hope all along, even though they said
It's
extraction
not going to
shooter.
be Crucible. What the heck, man? Hey, Jimmy Rayner. Jimmy Rayner, it's late for you, buddy. Make sure you don't get a lack of sleep, man, if you got to work tomorrow. All right. Well, what do you think? You guys ready? You guys ready to do this?
Born ready. Yep, let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Ready when you are.
Oh, crap. I don't think I set my settings for my outputs. Hold on, let me just double check. But recording. Nope. It's still going to go to 300 celebration. Let me see if I still have that file. I do. No, I don't. Shoot. Okay, well, we're going to go by... what's up, Dorath? We are going to go by... how can I do this? Dang it. I did everything except that. Shoot. Okay, let me see how I can do this. I can do this. Let's see here. Got to think on my feet here how I can do this, because it won't let me do it while I'm streaming. So, dang it! I can't believe I forgot to do this. Yeah, it's locked in. I'm pretty sure I got rid of that. Oh no, I didn't get rid of it. I didn't. Okay, I can fix this. Sorry, chat. Just one sec. I got to make sure I can record these video files, because I like to sometimes throw them out there in short form. I just need to grab something real quick here. My bad. Boop ba doop ba doo. Yep, that. And you guys get to see the pre-show, right? This is the pre-show. This will be under.
You can't see me, but I'm doing jazz hands.
Yes, definitely. There we go. It's going to be right there. Let me just find the file, and I'll just whip it right back to where it was. All right.
Actually, to be nice to you, Todd, I'll figure out a solution for next week where maybe I can do like let's see, can I do without turning off the camera? No, I don't know. I'll figure it out. See if I can have like a picture that comes up with the same format, so it won't mess you up. But I'll see what I can do.
I don't know, man. No,
I still think it's mostly something you got to figure out on your side, but I'll see what I can do.
No, it was a file that actually, I just locked the garage door, and my wife and my daughter just went for a walk, so they can't get in. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Of course. But yeah, I guess if I turn off camera, it like moves the things around. So if people are just watching on Discord, it's no big deal. But if they're watching YouTube or Twitch, the way Todd does the OBS messes it up. And then I might be able to find out a way where I can, because I can have different backgrounds. See, like if I want to do something like this, or like I'm in a fancy house or something. But it still shows me. So
gotta love going live. All right. No, Dorath. I don't turn it on and off again. Come on, man. This isn't the 80s.
Alt F4 that.
Turn it on and off again. Jeez, please.
Alt F4, the most important control in a damage check in a raid.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna turn your volume up just a little more. Just a little low. Is that where you're gonna be sitting from your mic, Taco?
Yeah, I can adjust my gain as well.
No. Don't let me do it independently. That way you'll shoot way up. When I'm already raising your gain up. You should be good. Okay. All right, let's do a podcast.
This.
All right, let's do this. All right, I got it fixed now. We got it fixed. We saved it. Here we go. 3, 2. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 301 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming, and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, my co-host from the great state of Utah, Kingsley Mack, is with me again. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Thanks for being here again tonight. We also have a first-time guest on the show with us tonight. He's a member of our Discord community. I looked it up. He's been here for over 2 years now. I didn't know that. And he's known as one of our Raid Boss patrons, which is our highest patron level in our community. So he really does give back to our community and show. I'm really looking forward to hearing his story tonight. So please welcome AmazingTacoKing. How are you tonight, sir?
Good. Glad to be here. Congratulations on 300 last week as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
I did not share my congratulations, but I just want to say I'm raising a drink
There we
to
go.
the show.
I like it. I
And
like it.
today's show is sponsored by Taco.
There we go. I love it.
Bell or which one?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just the
Exactly.
king.
Well,
One
for
of the tacos.
For those of you who may not have just finding out about our podcast here, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise. And we like to sprinkle in some entertainment, other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well. But we've been producing audio episodes for nearly 6 years now. And as the game has changed, so have we. So we now have a live version of our show on YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, our live stage channel in our community, where you can interact with us live in the chat on our new day and time. That's Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time as of right now. We'll also have a replay of tonight's show on my YouTube channel for those across the pond or those that are in bed sleeping right now. Just put your head back down. You're fine. You're fine. Well, you can see it in the morning. It's no big deal. But like I said, you can always go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, to listen to any of our individual episodes whenever you like. And of course, all of you who are listening right now on all those podcast apps out there, thank you for lending your ears to us tonight. We appreciate you. In this episode, Kingsley Mack and I will interview our newest guest and hear about his Destiny journey. We'll then put him through the paces with our newest version of the speed run. We'll then share how our week has gone in gaming and life so far this week. We'll quickly review this week in Destiny, and Destiny does have some new news tonight we'll share. It's the weekly Bungie blog that informs us of the current events in Destiny 2. Of course, we stick to the highlights only. We don't go word by word, only the stuff we think that's important that you guys need to hear. That way, if you guys
almost word by word.
Yeah. Oh, no. If you guys want to go back and read it, individually, then that's on you. Or Two Titans and a Hunter. They will go through every bit of the TWAB in detail and then some. So that's the place for that. We just like to give you the top news every week from the TWAB. Next, we're going to have our topic of the week. And in this week, we kind of have two topics to discuss. One short one from myself and the other our guest, AmazingTacoKing, brought to us tonight. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. And as we do nearly every week, we'll look to our Discord community for any questions for the show. We'll go over the results and comments for our GDC question of the week. This is where I ask a random question every Monday, and Kingsley puts together the survey for me with the possible answers. And then we share the results live on our show. And if you want to participate in that, just look for Question of the Week channel. It's right there in our Guardian Downcast section of channels. And like I said, I might even share some comments as well. Finally, we're going to add some music to our Guardian Downcast show playlist. It's been a while. We have a lot packed into the show tonight. So if everyone's ready, let's roll. Well,
You should have a little. Sorry.
No, go ahead. It's all right, man.
You should have a little sound segment in between.
I should.
Rolling. Limp
That's
Bizkit.
just the way I've always, where I got that from, right? It's from 9/11. It's what one of the heroic members that were on the plane that fateful day, they said, let's roll. And that's when they took over the plane and it crashed.
See, yours is more respectable. I just keep thinking Limp Bizkit. Keep rolling.
Hey, I like Limp Bizkit.
Rolling.
I got that reference as well. But I want to turn to our guest tonight. Let's start there, Kingsley. AmazingTacoKing. Where are you from, man?
I am from Georgia primarily. I live outside the metro area of Atlanta.
Man, I know that area well. What is it? The 429? Was it the fourth something? It just circles around and loops around Atlanta forever and ever. Gosh.
I-285.
That's it. 429's a toll road in Florida. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I know that area well, man. I'm actually an Atlanta Brave fan. Have been ever since Chipper Jones from the Orlando area was a legendary third baseman for the Atlanta Braves. But yeah, man, that's a great town. I've been there so many times, usually sitting in traffic trying to get through. But yeah, exactly, Ken. Never forget. But what do you do, sir? What do you do for a living?
I work in automotive repair as a support personnel. Primarily, I work in parts, inventory management,
Okay.
that sort of thing. And I work for the very fun company called Tesla Motor Works.
You work for Tesla. Wow.
I do.
So you learn something every day. Well, so you basically source the parts, any parts that need to be replacing for those cars. You're the one that sources them.
Yeah, I source for the service center I work for. I used to
Huh?
work in a collision center, and then I've recently moved into service. As we discussed previously, where I was like transitioning to a new schedule.
Yeah.
I went from second shift to first shift, so I went from overnights to early mornings now.
I imagine lately you've been repairing more Teslas than you or have expected, right? Seems people are keying and just doing all kinds
Yeah,
of
we
things.
actually had some vandalism in the parking lot at work this morning.
This morning, wow, jeez,
Uh-huh.
crazy man. I don't know what's wrong with the world these days. Well, let me ask you this: what is the earliest moment that you decided to be and create a hobby in video games?
From the minute I could actually comprehend what a video game was.
Okay, what was your
So, I mean,
what's it? What?
you're thinking like 4, maybe 5 years old.
Okay, so what system did you start on?
Me and my brother went to a babysitter
Uh-huh.
when we were younger, and she ran like a small little babysitting business out of her house,
Mm-hmm.
and she just had everything there for her kids. So I think
Nice.
the first system we played was the original Nintendo Entertainment System,
Okay.
the good old NES, Super
Nice.
Nintendo, Sega, Genesis, pretty much anything from that time period on. I've either played it, touched it, or had it at some point.
An old soul. I like it. I like it. Very cool. Well, how did you find Destiny? Did you now? Let me ask you: are you a Destiny 1 original player or are you a Destiny 2 player?
Closed beta access, actually.
Wow, the original OG.
Yep.
Well, how did you find out about this game, man? Long ago, back in 2014.
I mean, I remember seeing the old rumors online that Bungie's working on a big project. Hush, hush, no one talk about it, and you would go look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Back when the internet really wasn't useful for anything other than just being there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's like you go find this clip and it's like some blurry image of someone saying, I saw the project, and it's just a blurry image that you can't see anything from. And then eventually it became more profound with the rest of the world and gaming news in general. I think the first time I even read about Destiny in full, like an official commentary, was a Game Informer article that was
Oh,
like a little 6 by 8 inch paragraph.
I remember that, man. I followed everything when it came to Destiny. It's what I was looking for at the time. I was so burnt out playing Call of Duty. It was my savior in video games because I was about ready to call it quits in video games. But gosh, that smooth, beautiful interface that you saw, very very futuristic. It just, ever since I saw it, what was it, E3? I think they did the little teaser, and I was like, what is this? Because it was like nothing I'd ever seen before, right? Yeah, it's crazy.
The first time Prismatic was truly seen, but no one remembers it.
Wow, that's
In
true.
that E3 demo, if you pay attention, the Warlock throws a
Really,
solar grenade
really.
and then void bombs
That's
immediately
right.
after.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, I still have some of the original advertising sometimes I use in my videos, but that's pretty cool. Is there a memory from any Destiny 1 or Destiny 2 that comes to mind now that you'll never forget?
I mean, there's quite a few throughout the years. I mean, the first one I'll never truly forget was the first time I successfully did a raid, which for me it wasn't Vault, it wasn't Crota. It was actually Taken King was the first time I got into raiding in Destiny, and the first time we had a full complete. It was probably one of the coolest feelings in the world.
Kingsley, that was your first raid, right? Because you were taking tot.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
not like it's not like we couldn't have done the other raids, but people were only wanting to run King's Fall at the moment.
Yeah.
So it actually took me a while because I started February after Taken King came out. So it actually took me a while to loop back around to Vault of Glass and Crota, because especially until they updated them in the last year, no one really wanted to run them. So
God, I remember
But
that.
yeah,
Never
King's
actually
Fall.
ran them from start to finish before.
Yeah, King's Fall is quite an epic one to start with, and you would
Was.
think, in a way, maybe that would be my favorite raid, but it's not my favorite. But it's great memories. It's always like a pleasant raid to run.
Yeah, I think you asked me that last week. I think that is my favorite raid of all time in Destiny. Just something about it, man. It just has so many different encounters and places you have to get by along the way. I'm thinking of the Dick Wall and stuff. So, yeah, I mean that's such good times, man. But
It's an initiation for the uninitiated.
I remember when I didn't get in the first Vault of Glass, I was so pissed. I was in an old man clan, like an old gamer. It was like gaming dads. And I remember I showed up early and there were 6 people that ran it even earlier. I'm like, what the hell? I was so pissed. But, time flies, I guess. What character in the game do you like the most and why? This could be an NPC, any character in the game, Destiny.
I mean, the comedic relief from Cade and Taken King was really great. A good go-to. But I actually like the over-top voice acting and just overall ostentatiousness of Callus throughout Destiny 2's career.
I like it. That's a first. I don't think anybody's ever mentioned Callus. Yeah, he's so full of himself, isn't he? That's awesome.
And Lightfall, when he's like, "I'm magnanimous," it's like, okay, sit down, guy.
I wish they'd bring the Levy raid back. That would be so much fun to play again, especially with him, and at the end there. Yeah. Speaking of which, if you were to pick an NPC at the tower or any of your NPCs around the world, which would you pick as your favorite?
I'd probably have to go with either Cade or Eris, honestly. They're just so well liked and just so well rounded out story-wise.
You didn't say Drifter. That's all that matters. Everybody always says Drifter. That guy just gets. I guess everyone just clings to that guy. But I don't blame him. I'm probably going to hear about him coming up in the next DLC. So, are you mainly a solo player, or do you play with a fire team or a clan?
For a long time, I was a solo player. Recently, in the last few years, I actually managed to get my friend, who's hated Destiny since day one. Since Witch Queen came out, he's kind of been slowly getting more incorporated into it, and then until this most recent, downturn of just everything kind of starting to dry up, he's like every week, "Oh, we're gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna go do this. Then we're gonna go do this. Then we're gonna go do this." It's just like, okay, cool. I'm tired. I'm going to bed, but we have to finish the Nightfall.
Tomcat and Socks, thanks, brother. Hey guys, stopping by to say love the show. Appreciate your hard work and passion for the game. Long live Destiny. Absolutely, my good. Absolutely, my dude. Thank you, man. Thanks for stopping by and saying that. Okay, very important questions coming up here. So think very carefully how you answer these questions. You might be judged. AmazingTacoKing, do you do bounties?
Only if they pay well.
Well, that works. That works. Gunsmith bounties pay very well. Okay.
I don't do those. I don't do those. I only really do like the seasonal bounties on occasion,
that counts.
The special events.
That counts. I'll accept that. How did you originally find our community, by the way, our Discord community?
I think it was about was June of 23, I believe, is when I found it. Or that's when I joined the Discord. I think I found it before. I think I listened to the podcast the last half of the first of that year, so 22 before. So I think it was about Season of Plunders when I actually started listening consistently.
Very nice. We get so many very interesting names that join our Discord every day. And I remember AmazingTacoKing. I'm like, who is this dude? When you joined, I remember certain names that joined the community, and we've had some ones that are out there though. Hey, Jimmy Rayner, thanks for stopping by, brother. Get some sleep, brother. Yeah, we get the replay if you want to watch it again tomorrow. Yeah, I hopefully will be doing a Saturday raid. We'll have to see if Kingsley, we can drum together our team and get it done. I think we're going to do a Deep Stone Crypt this week, just so you know. Thank you, man. Gotcha. Titan Hunter or Warlock main?
I mean, if you go by my time played, it's Hunter, but I'm actually a jack of all trades.
I like it.
I rotate every other season. So I think when Lightfall came out, I started out as Titan, then I moved to Warlock, then I finished out with Hunter, and then I kind of just
Man,
played all three in the last season.
I need to do that, Kingsley. I need to play a different character every season. That makes sense. Because right now I play Warlock mainly. It's the first thing I go to whenever there's
Yeah,
new content.
because you try to claim you play all the characters
Yeah.
equally. Whenever Guardian games come around, I'm like, bullshit, because like you really only play.
You're right.
If
Call
you
me
really
out.
played them equally, you would swap different seasons.
I should do that though because hey, 99 cap.
Like, you don't have to if you don't like the other
But that's
characters.
no,
It's only if you want.
No, I actually like playing all three of the characters. Now, man, I tell you, one thing that Destiny sorely needs is a fourth character. That would be something that would really raise the bar. But
you don't even have time for 3.
True. But yeah,
If you give them all Nova Bomb, he'll play them all.
I'll play them all. If you give me Prismatic, they can all throw Nova Bombs. I'm good to go. What activities do you prefer to play in the game? I mean, your ritual activities and stuff. What do you when you log on? What do you go to? What's your go-to for activities?
When I play solo, I typically will just run Vanguard hops just over and over again, just to farm out materials and stuff.
Gotcha.
This season, obviously the Nether's been the go-to for everything because of the roguelike elements to it, but I actually find it kind of boring after a while. But when I play with my group, we always do Nightfalls.
Okay, so you're a strike guy. Gotcha. Okay. What one weapon in your vault will you refuse to delete and why? You can look at them if you need
Honestly,
to.
I'd get rid of all of my weapons. I actually have a piece of armor I wouldn't get rid of, and the only reason I won't is because, and I can send you a screenshot of it later. It is an old defunct Hunter exotic arm set that has like all the depreciated mods on it and stuff. It just gives you a hint,
Really?
like just looking into the window of what armor used to look like before the 2.0 update.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious to me. So I'm like, I'm never getting rid of this. It's staying forever.
Very nice. Okay.
Goals, yeah.
Okay. I was a little shocked by that. Any weapon could be destroyed comment, but that's all right.
Same for me.
I know it is. If Bungie assigned you a small but versatile dev team to you and you alone, what would you work on for Destiny 2 in the future?
I would probably work on like incorporating just being able to do activities without having a dedicated group better. So more expansion on Fire Team Finder, and in general just like having different availability for certain activities as well. Maybe putting in a baby guard mode like they're doing with Rite of the Nine coming up, or for the masochist out there, put in like ultra hard, you die, you go to orbit, everything's 300% health dungeon raids.
Yeah. There's so many things I could go to with that answer, but good enough. Okay, let's wrap up with some signature questions here, and then we're going to put you through the paces of our speed run. Do you have any
When you were mentioning, real
ahead.
quick, when you were mentioning systems back in the day,
Mhm.
what would you say was your first system? Either you bought it yourself or you like to claim it. And then a follow-up to that, what do you play on right now? I forget if that was asked or not.
First system I ever truly owned that was mine and mine alone was PlayStation 2.
Okay. That's
Nice.
Currently, my main vehicle of combat is my new computer that I just got built not too long ago.
Okay.
Nice. What kind of card do you have in it?
5080 RTX.
Nice.
Oh, 5080. You know what's funny is I have a 4080 in mine, and I've heard the price has skyrocketed because I don't know, there's something about the 4080s have become more popular lately. I don't know why, but I just happened to order that with my computer when I got mine last year. But 5080, man, that's a blazingly fast processor. All right. Some signature questions here before we wrap up. Do you have any other hobbies other than gaming?
Not really. The only other really real hobby that I have outside of gaming is just not electrical gaming. It's trading card gaming. I collect Magic cards and I play Magic all the time.
We play Magic the Gathering. Nice.
Yep.
my son just recently got me into tabletop card games. Man, I loved it. We were when our power went out, we couldn't play anything electronically. He brought this game. Cam, what was the name of that game? He's in the chat. What was the game you brought that we played? Yeah. Anyway, yes, I know that's a graphics card, but it still has to process images. There was a game he brought that I loved. I was so addicted to that game. So I mean, I missed the boat, man, because I never got into. I did tabletop board games, but I never got into card games, and I am always a little jealous of people who play Dungeons and Dragons and card games like that, and Gwent and things like that. But all right, cool deal.
You could do it.
I know I still can, but now
every collection starts with one item.
Dude, I'm trying to get 2 podcasts going here. I don't have time to do anything like that anymore.
Screw a second podcast and play D&D.
No, it's
there we go.
That's not what the podcast is going to be about. Sorry. Dude, I got to ask you, Amazing Taco King, what is up with that gamer tag? I've been wanting to ask you that ever since you joined the Discord.
Unfortunately, it's not really an entertaining story, but I can set the setting.
Okay.
There I was, playing Halo LAN parties. I was Amazing Taco Boy. Then I decided to kill the father of the Duke, and I became the king.
Oh, nice. Dude, you sound a lot younger than you sound a lot younger than I think you are, because it's everything you've been talking about seems like you're more old school. When you play, yeah, Ascension was the game that my son brought. I love that game, Ascension. That was so much fun. Okay, do you have
if you can guess how old I am in 2 guesses, I'll be very impressed.
Well, I'm guessing 30s, but if I have to be more specific, I can. What do you think, Todd?
I get 2 guesses?
Go for it.
I'm gonna say 35.
I'll say 33.
Split the difference and -1 from 1 under 35.
So you're 34. Nice.
I mean, look at us.
I said that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm 32. I'm
32.
sorry.
32. You have a very young.
Sorry.
No, you're throwing me off because you have a very young voice. Yeah. Okay.
It's really funny because I have a young voice and I look young. So when I see people in public, they're like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "Guess." They'll give out their answers. Some people will be like, "You're 20. You're 25." I'm like, "I'm 32." They're like, "You look like you just graduated high school."
Kingsley, I got to deal with this every week. Kingsley has to always say if he beats me at a game. He always has to mention that every week.
Beat you. Oh, well,
You were closer by 1. Yes. Okay.
I don't care that much. I feel like because you care, that's why I mentioned it.
No, I know. It bugs me. It gets under my skin. That's the Crucible player in me. Okay, last question. What's one thing about you that our community may not know about you? You can talk about anything you like. Floor's yours.
That the community doesn't know about. Well, there's a lot because I'm not very social. I mean, nothing really interesting comes to mind, unfortunately. I mean, I'm a shut-in introvert. I have social anxiety sometimes. I don't like going out and doing things by myself. Things that people may not know about me. I'm actually really into doing outdoorsy stuff, but because I never leave the house, everyone's not aware of that. Like, I'd happily go on a hike and everyone's just like, "We didn't think you'd want to go."
Oh, dude, you got to definitely got to go out and enjoy the scenery. I think nature's medicine. I really do. Kingsley lives in the best state because, my God, everywhere you go, there's a national park around you. And
that's where the sun lives.
The mountains, man, are just fantastic there. I mean, I've been to a lot of mountain ranges. I've been to the Rockies. I've been to Montana out that way. I've been to the Smokies, obviously. I've been to almost all the mountain ranges in the United States. But man, Utah has the coolest mountains. I realize it's part of the Rockies, but it's still just
people in Colorado will disagree and fight. But yeah, it's definitely Utah.
It's the
and
Red
Colorado
Rocks.
have some of the best. Yep.
It's the Red Rocks, man. It's got to be what it is. But I was just flipping through photos of our trip back in 2022. My God, it seems like we just did that. Man, it was
so southern Utah. Yeah, I thought you meant the actual mountains that are green forests and snow
Well,
and trees.
Bryce Canyon. I
Yeah,
mean,
that is cool
Acadia,
areas too. Yeah.
National, not
Mhm.
Acadia, Zion National Park. That place didn't look real
Yep,
to me.
Zion.
Did not even look real.
Zion,
It looked like I was
amazing.
on a movie set somewhere. It was nuts. Well, Amazing Taco King, thank you for sharing a little bit of your life with us tonight, but you're not done yet. Not done yet, because we have the speed run, and I'll leave that to our buddy, Mr. Shax. You'll hear it in the overlay. I'll put it in later.
He's asking the speed run. That's pretty cool.
No, he has that little saying when you get
I know.
you ran out of medals in Crucible. Okay, this segment is called the speed run. I've handpicked 25 questions from a pool of over 1,000 submitted by our community over these past almost 6 years now. These are quick, simple questions to get to know our guest at an even deeper level. No time limits, no contest, just quick answers and questions. So if you're ready, Amazing Taco King, you ready to begin?
Whatever you are.
Let's do it. Apple or orange juice?
Orange juice.
Name one possession you can't live without.
My car.
Okay. What is your favorite Destiny exotic? Can be from either Destiny.
You know, when you're on the spot, these are more difficult than I thought.
They are. Well, it could be armor or weapons, by the way.
Let's go microcosm.
Okay. If you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
It's a good answer, and I don't have one.
You don't have anybody who would voice your ghost?
Not really off the top of my head that I can think of.
I think I said Christopher
I would
Lloyd.
go with original. I would go original Dinklebot, honestly.
Okay,
I thought it was just
Dinklage.
interesting
Dinklage.
to have him. Yep.
Okay, that's good. All right, next question, number 5. Void, solar, arc, stasis, or strand?
Stasis.
Okay, interesting answer. Pulse, hand cannon, scout, or auto rifle?
Hand cannon.
I have a feeling you're going to go that way, Hunter. What is your favorite superpower? If you were able to have a superpower, that is. I worded that one wrong, but you get my point.
Yeah. I sort of already have it, technically. This is actually a good answer for what people might not know about me.
Okay.
I actually have a semi-eidetic memory, so being able to, having a photographic memory would be a great superpower.
Really? That's something we definitely didn't know about you. Very good. Excellent answer. What is your favorite breakfast cereal? Past or present?
Golden Grams.
Golden Grams. Okay. That's good. That's a good pick. Man, I can taste those already. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Commission-based.
Ugh. Tell me about it. What is your beverage of choice?
Coca-Cola. Gotta represent Atlanta.
Gotcha. Are you stealth or guns blazing?
Stealth if I can help it.
I like it. All right. You have to delete one. Gambit, Crucible, or Strikes?
Sorry, Gator. Crucible's going.
Oh my, I knew you were going to say that. But it doesn't make sense because you're a hunter with a hand cannon, which excels in Crucible. But okay, I'll stick with your answer.
Well, when I play Crucible, I got a glaive.
Hand cannons are really good in PvE, Todd, even though you don't like them.
Not another Jimmy. Not another JD Kent. Okay. What is the best Destiny subclass? Any character?
Full subclass, I would have to honestly go with I don't remember the specific. Is it Riftwalker, the other Void super for Warlock?
Oh,
That is probably one of the better subclasses.
Kingsley, you know it. Was it Voidwalker? No, it's
Or what was the question? Sorry.
the one where the super where you run around and pulse people with void.
No. Gosh, I don't remember. No one uses that.
He does. It's his favorite.
It's not Void Walker. Void Walker's just the full overall name, at least with
Right.
D1. But what's it called? Anyways,
Oh well,
I'll look it up.
he'll look it up. Okay. Question number 14. What is your favorite Destiny planet and why?
Mars. Destiny 1 Mars specifically. But overall, because throughout Destiny's lifetime, you see 2 different biomes and like 3 different facilities and backgrounds for Mars.
Nova Warp.
Nova Warp. I was waiting for you to say
Yes.
it. Nice. Okay, this is a very important question. Number 15. Krispy Kreme or Dunkin'?
Krispy Kreme.
Neither. No.
Oh, off the show. Banned.
Sorry. I'll shut up. This is the guest.
I know you want to answer him too. That's why we already tested each other, Kingsley. All right.
I know.
If I would have known, I would have put that in yours. Which is
But
worse?
he studied this time.
Yeah. Which is worse, supplicants or exploder shanks?
Supplicants.
I agree. They're very, very sneaky. Describe yourself in one word.
Adaptable.
Okay, I like that. Pick one cheese, cheddar, Swiss, or Riven.
I would honestly have to say neither. Gouda's better.
You don't like the Riven cheese?
I don't think I've ever had Riven, honestly.
Kingsley, you've had the Riven cheese, haven't you? I know I've had it.
I've done the Riven cheese. I haven't had the Riven cheese.
I can't remember who submitted that question, but I thought that was a very smart question.
Annoying but hilarious.
It is funny, yeah.
And I've truly never had it because I've never done Last Wish.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense then. That's why I didn't get it. Okay. Can you drive a stick shift?
I cannot, unfortunately.
Okay. Favorite armor shader color? You can look it up if you need to on Dim.
It would honestly depend on the piece of gear, but the one that came with Echoes, which was it came with this last expansion that I can't think of, Final Shape. Oh god, what is it called?
Super black?
No, it's not Super Black. That came before that.
Yeah. Well, some of us got it before it.
It's the resonant one. The one that has the resonant glow, the dark resonant glow. I cannot think of the name of it.
Chat.
My life.
Anybody think of it? Which one he's talking
I
about?
don't have Dim.
You know, that's another thing. Not to get off topic here, but Bungie, please. Can you please let us organize our shaders better and have names under them? Would be nice. Something like that. Okay, I digress. Question number 21. Favorite pasta dish?
Does chicken parm count?
That counts. Chicken parmesan?
Yeah, it would.
Resonant
usually
Fury
come with-
is
Resonant
that's
Fury?
not what it's called. I think
Okay.
so.
Okay. All right.
It looks like the name of a Titan build.
Question number 22. Preferred car or truck brand?
I honestly don't have a preferred one. I
Okay.
just drive a car.
Okay. Number 23. Street smarts or book smarts?
I'm about book smarts.
Okay. Well, if you got an eidetic memory, that makes perfect sense. Millennium Falcon or the USS Enterprise?
I gotta go with the Falcon.
Okay. And number 25. I asked this of Kingsley last couple weeks ago. Game-winning score or game-saving stop?
Game saving stop.
I like it. Well, Amazing Taco King, you now are further known. Thanks for playing along, man. Appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
I've got a question for all you out there listening. Is there a speedrun question that you think you should ask or we should ask further guests? If that's, I'm just going to do it again. Hey, I got a question for you guys out there. Is there a speedrun question that you think we should ask our future guest? If so, let's hear it. Go to our 2026 speedrun channel and submit your question. And at the beginning of 2026, we'll have 2 drawings for a $25 Amazon gift card. I mean, what do you have to lose? Let's hear it. 1 entry per member will go into the drawing, but you can submit as many as you like. And boy, people have. So already we've got a bunch of submissions. So thank you guys for that. It just gives us more fodder to throw at our guests. So, all right, let's get down to what we've been doing this week right after this. All right, Amazing Taco King, I'll start with you first, man. What have you been doing this week in gaming and life, TV, movies, whatever you want to talk about, man?
I mean, in gaming in general, I mean, I've just been hopping in around whatever I can play, get my hands on. Primarily this week, it's been Oblivion Remastered. that just came out on Tuesday. Nice little
Yep.
shadow drop from Bethesda.
Yep.
And I have sunk, I could not tell you how many hours into the original. It's the only game in my entire Xbox profile that has 100% achievements completed. And I have 100% of it in the background that you don't see the trackers on.
It's funny you should say that. My son is in the chat. He's a little bit younger than you, not by much though. And he said, first thing he told me about the first part of this week was, Dad, have you seen this? Is Oblivion remastered? I'm like, son, I didn't play Oblivion. I know you, that was his game. He loved that game when it came out. Yeah. So, yeah, I have not played it yet. I did see the dev update where they talked about what they did different, and it looked good. It did look good, but I'll be honest, I'm just going to go back and finish, my other games that are very similar to that I've got so much to do. And FromSoft just makes really good games. I will always flock back to their games, but I didn't grow up with those games. I grew up playing shooters, so I can't appreciate that, I guess, like you guys can. But yeah, so you've been enjoying it? You've been playing it?
Oh yeah, 100%. It is. They have nailed the spirit of what made Oblivion so quirky and fun,
nice.
And just made it look fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you've been doing this week? I could have sworn I saw you playing a marathon closed alpha. Is that true?
It's just a weird game that some people have told me I should talk about. I don't know. It's. I don't think you want to hear about that.
No, I'm curious. I'm really curious, since Bungie didn't send Missile Guy a code, which is fine. Maybe it might be in their best interest, but I'm curious what you thought of it, really. I mean, I watched Lupo play it today. I got mixed feelings about it, but you were boots on the ground. What did you think of it, man?
I luckily was able to get in because my friend was selected. He sent me a friend referral link.
Nice.
Weirdly enough, the link wasn't a guaranteed access. It was just redo the survey to get in the alpha access again, which I thought was really strange. So for the weekend leading up before they approved, sending me a code,
right,
we were just like, oh, well, I didn't get in. You have fun. Tell me what you think. And then Monday, he was checking the Discord, and he's like, hey, your role got updated. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, your role, you have the role. Go check your email.
Oh my God. Yeah, I guess you had to see that in the Marathon official Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, that's where I applied to. It took a while. I had to spam the commands until I finally got the survey to pop up, but no dice for the old Gator, which I'll admit, I'm actually, if I was to get an alpha code tomorrow, I don't know. Of course, I'd probably play it, but I got to be honest, man. I was watching Lupo play it today, and I was getting bored watching him play. And that's not like a PvP game. I mean, if I watch people play Trials or Iron Banner or Crucible, there's just always something to do, but the game still looks so washed out. It just looks faded. And I think Astrocross said today on his, he put out a video about his first initial impressions, and he said it looked like things weren't rendering right away. Maybe it was fuzzy as far as the rendering coming in, but what do you think about that part?
We have to narrow down. You're not a PvP player, Todd. You're a very specific PvP player.
Well,
just a linear Destiny, certain type
there's
a term for it. But yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on the game. I'm really not trying to shit on the game. I mean,
I know you're not.
I've played shooter games for decades.
Only certain types. There's all these new types that you don't like.
I've played Apex. Yeah. I've played. I actually played Apex. I actually started getting into Apex, but the problem is with a lot of these shooters, if you don't play them a lot, you don't get the map knowledge. You don't know all the latest characters that come out, because they do that a lot in Apex. They put new characters and new abilities out all the time. I love that Apex had a shooting range at the beginning, and I really hope they do that in Marathon, because when you get a gun, you don't know how it fires and how accurate it is. And of course, there's all kinds of mods you can get apparently in Marathon. But like I was telling Kingsley in the pre-show, my biggest fear is I'm going to be sitting there trying to go through all all these menus in my inventories, trying to figure out what to apply and what to use and what to throw on my gun and get a bigger backpack. And it just seems overwhelming to me as far as going through your inventory. It's the one thing I hated about playing battle royales is sitting there having to, you come up to a bag full of loot and you're like, okay, you just start going through it. But unless you're really efficient going through and quickly basing what you want to grab and what you want to get rid of, you got to be very decisive in that moment. Otherwise, you just get shot. You just get killed trying to look at loot to pick up off the ground, right? Do you find that a problem with going through your inventories when you played it?
So how they have the UI set up, so I primarily play on controller.
Me too.
I feel like the alpha is made more so for, because I'm playing it on PC, it's made more for keyboard and mouse.
Yeah. You can drag and drop
around, like from the start.
Yeah.
So that probably makes a bigger difference, because it does have the similar Destiny like feel, where you're using the joystick to move your cursor around. It feels like your cursor kind of gets stuck on everything as it's going around. But I mean, primarily, for extraction shooters in general, you look for what has the most value. So if it's shiny, or if it, and the good thing about Marathon is how they have it listed is you can set your icons to show the value of the item, or just an item icon.
Yep.
So that helps narrow it down, because if you see an item for $225 versus $60, you're obviously going to grab the $225 and run.
Right. Without trying to sit there and say, well, what does this do and stuff? Yeah. You just grab it and run. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Anything else you want to mention about your initial thoughts playing the alpha?
I mean, we could go into a full dissertation if you really want to.
Well, I'm just.
Yeah, it sounds like we're getting into it now, and I want to give my opinion too. Or do we want to talk about it later?
No. Let's just get into it, man. We're flowing here. Let's just get into it. Go ahead. Tell us what you thought, man.
So the best like one-to-one comparison I can give you if you want to really try something similar to it. Unfortunately, the comparison doesn't have controller support, so you'll either have to learn how to play keyboard and mouse more efficiently.
You're gonna say Tarkov.
Figure it out. No, Delta Force.
Oh, Delta Force. I haven't played that game.
Delta Force's extraction gameplay is very, very similar. Okay. There's AI in the system. There's other players in the system. Each individual character has powers. Delta Force is a good 1-to-1 ratio of what you can expect to see in Marathon, and the map size is about the same.
Okay. What did you think about the map size? Was it plenty of room to move around, or?
They honestly, for like a battle royale style, because that's what most people are going to when they think of extraction shooters, because they see like Tarkov, or you see like PUBG, which is like you have that big wide open area and then it slowly narrows it down to force engagement. The maps in Marathon are actually really, really close together. Like it looks like it's far away when you're looking at the map, but I mean, like you sprint at a pretty considerable pace, and that 500-meter mark that you have out there, you can run up on it in like 10 seconds, no problem.
Okay. What did you think of the weapon feel of the weapons you were using?
We haven't found everything yet, and I've been seeing some other things on some streamers. When I was at work, I was watching some gameplay in the background. They're finding other weapons too. I primarily, from the old heydays of Call of Duty, 4, World at War, all that, my go-to for most first-person shooters has always been sniping. Any form of long-range combat was my preferred go-to. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, sniping feels amazing in this game.
Glad to hear that, because that's what I like to do too. Now, how snappy is a sniping to targets? Is it kind of slow and heavy, or?
Aim down sights is not as slow as just flat, most FPS. It's a little bit snappier than okay. Traditional. I'm sure once you find certain mods that make it even faster, it'll be even, like just real quick, like 0.2 seconds, you're up and ready to go.
Okay.
But I mean, just default, you pretty much have like essentially snapshot sights ready to go on almost every weapon.
Okay, good to know. Kings, do you have any questions for him? You look like you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah, questions for him, and then I'll just give a couple impressions what I saw too.
Go for it.
So we know that they don't have all the maps out yet, and we know that they're going to still continue to work on shading and colorization and stuff. So I'm not as concerned about things look kind of a muddied green on the outside of just one map right now.
Okay.
But all that being said, since we know they're still going to change some and make it better and add more stuff, that even where the state is an alpha, do you like it enough? Is it a game that you think is pretty fun, just where it is today?
So I wasn't really into extraction shooters to begin with. Um, However, the quick turnaround for this one for the gameplay loop, and I mean, extraction shooters in general, most people, a lot of people's fear when they play extraction shooters, as I've learned throughout the last few years as they become more prevalent, and honestly, kind of feels like they're in the decline already too, which is really weird that they've sunk their ship to this to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But like, hey, business marketing on a macro level, that's way beyond my pay grade. So, um, but like in general, most people's fear is, well, if I get in there and I keep dying and I lose all my stuff, I can't come out of that hole. Most extraction shooters do have like some kind of safety net where they'll give you a freebie kit if you lose significantly enough. So like at the end of the day, it's extraction shooters really just rely on that gameplay loop of like just get in there, get in there, get it done, get out alive if you can. If you can't, reload, relock, go. And the gameplay loop for Marathon is very quick. Like you have 20 minutes per map, or I think it's 25 minutes overall per map or per round, I should say. There's only like there's only like 18 players on the map. The AI is actually really, really intense at times, and they will hunt you down.
Yep.
Like,
They said, don't think they're basic. They can be as hard as real players. Yeah.
Yes, they
That's
can
good.
be. You can easily exploit some of them too, because it's like, oh, shoot the head. Oh, that's a weak point. Shoot the shiny. That's gamer logic. But like perfect example and hilarious moment we had a grunt AI robot like hunting us down last night, and it literally like this is Sparta kicked a window open and just ran in the room and started shooting at us. It was the funniest and scariest thing at the same time.
Can't believe it kept following you though. That's really cool for AI.
Oh, they will track you down.
I like that.
They have a sound radius of where they can detect you, like a player would. Like you hear footsteps, and your first instinct as a player is, hold up, what's that? These things, they hear footsteps, they're like, all right, cool, I'm going that direction, and I'm going to find you.
Well, when you encounter the AI, does it feel like a sound trap to you? Like it's going to attract other players to you when you're trying to shoot these AI, or do you feel comfortable?
I mean, it's always going to be it's always going to be a risk reward style gameplay. That is 100% what extraction shooters are about.
Fly by the seat of your pants.
The ones with AI in them make it to where, is this engagement worth it? Because if you have a contract, and for Marathon example, you have the contracts you do. Fun thing, excuse me, to know is in the contracts, if you complete your objective in the contract, you lose and you die, you still get progress on your contract. That's a good plus in my opinion.
That. Okay. It's a bounty basically.
Yeah.
Like it.
You do objective, you get reward for it. So like that's a good gameplay loop too in itself too. But like it's always risk reward. So like if you're carrying, $3,000 worth of gear on you and you get an engagement with, a small battalion of robots and you don't know if you're the last ones in the map or not, like that always comes down to your preferences. Like, is this worth my time or should I just book it? To me, I always want to engage because, that brings more excitement. Like, I'm not competitive by nature, but in these types of games, like, if you don't throw yourself into the fire, you never become accustomed to it. So, like, when it comes to actually pushing an engagement, you're always either you have an adrenaline surge and you're kind of freaking out, or you just don't know how to think or act because you're just like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to lose my stuff. But if you just throw yourself at it, you become immune to it, and then it just becomes more fun.
I like how there's the fear of losing your stuff. That kind of gets the adrenaline kicked up, That makes PvP games really fun, at least to me. If I think I'm going to lose something other than just respawn, after you get shot in Crucible. Yeah. Do you have any other input there, Kingsley? I want to.
Yeah, so I watched a lot of the streams
Mhm.
on yesterday.
Mhm.
No, Tuesday, and no, it was yesterday, Wednesday. Sorry, and
23rd.
yep, as of when we're recording yesterday, and it's still for me about what I expected. You know, I'm pretty good at seeing the future on certain things, and I know still it was fun watching. I know still that this game probably never was or never is for me.
Mhm.
Also watching it, I saw people that were expecting something different or more. I don't know why. People being a little disappointed. And then I saw even more people taking to it a little bit, even in the alpha state. And like, this is cool. This is a little bit different how it's doing the extraction shooter than other games have.
Mhm.
The movements faster. It's the gunplay, of course, is good. This and that, this and that. So I'm just again about reading the future. And right now, I don't know how much over, but there's an over 50% chance that I think this game will do well.
Really, you're up there. This is so weird that you're optimistic about it, and I'm not as
I
optimistic about it.
mean, 55% chance. I'm not saying a
Okay.
strong chance, but
Okay.
over 50%
All
chance
right.
that
You're
the game will
leaning. You're
do
leaning
well.
that way, though. Okay.
I'm
I get
leaning
it. I get it.
based on what I'm
Yeah.
seeing right now, because
Okay.
even just being an alpha, and I'm hearing some talk about people that are playing it or people watching, like, actually, that is kind of cool, this and that and this and that. So,
Okay.
well doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sell millions or anything like that, but it's not going to necessarily flop, I don't think.
Okay.
You know, I'll revise my opinion later as we get
Yeah.
closer if I
It's
need
early.
to. But yeah, but I was glad to watch it. I would have totally gone in if I had an alpha code,
Mhm.
but since I didn't get one, if they're only going to have a paid beta, which the rumor is you have to pre-order to get the beta, I don't know if it'll stay that way or not. But if they only do that, I'm not going to pre-order. I'm not going to.
Mhm.
But I'm happy for the people that got in the alpha. Happy for what I'm seeing so far. I still also think, why did they come out with this game overall? Like you were saying, Taco. Like, is it really the right time to come out with an extraction shooter? And it's hard because when you develop a game, it's many years in the making and
Mhm.
everything. But for what it is, I think they're doing about as good as they can.
Okay.
And again, and a little spoiler preview. I'm not trying to like change this off the guest, but I was a guest on a DPS podcast this last week. It'll come
Okay.
out soon, and we
Oh,
talked
nice.
marathon,
Nice.
and I gave my opinions on marathon and everything.
Mhm.
And there is a lot of people in other communities and stuff again that go. We went into the topic a lot about the look and the feel,
Right.
and again, if you aren't so stuck on realism, especially if you're younger or even if you're older and you can be okay with like artistic styles, there's a lot of people that think the stylization of it is actually a huge benefit and
Really.
plus,
Okay.
and they're really enjoying that part of it.
Well,
So
I'm
it's
definitely
interesting.
biased.
I kind of, it's not for me, but I think there's an over 50% chance that the game will do
Okay.
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 Yep.
We're going to get into marathon a little later, but anything else you wanted to mention? What you've been doing this week, Taco? We're going to get into more
I mean,
marathon talk
between
later. I just didn't want to get into too much of it right now. But
you're fine. No, I mean between those two, that's
okay.
pretty much what I've done. Other than that,
All
just before the end of the month and the reset for Diablo, I'm gonna try and finish my season pass out for that, but I
Right.
don't see that happening.
I need to get back into Diablo.
I need to play that game. I have a lot of
The
friends who
Deadgarn
just love it.
Diablo.
I have a lot of friends who play Diablo and
Oh, we played Diablo.
have played Diablo quite a bit. And I know this is the fourth incantation of it, but I don't know. Maybe I just got to dive in and see what it's all about. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I have my associate producer in the chat telling me what to do. Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate the advice. Thank you for that. Kingsley, let's go to you, man. What have you been doing this week?
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked if we wanted to get into marathon right now. You're the one that started it.
No, I wanted to at least touch on it because it didn't relate to our topic specifically.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure I got Taco's opinion of it. So.
Yeah. What I've been doing this week is finishing up Assassin's Creed Shadows. I finished the main storyline. I probably have about a weekish left, I'm guessing, of doing side quests, follow-up stuff before I move on to another game. I also don't know if I officially mentioned it on the show. the wife and I have been playing through Split Fiction, but we paused for a bit and we finally finished up the last of it. Did I mention that last week? I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did.
Split Fiction, you mentioned last week you were going to try to finish that with your wife.
Yeah, well, we did. And I give that game a perfect 10 out of 10. It's just such a good game.
Okay.
Such a good game. After Assassin's Creed, I don't know what I'm going to hop into. I might hop back into Diablo. Check out the season. When's the new season? You said there was a new season coming. I haven't been keeping track, Taco.
Yeah, new season I believe is this Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, which I think is the 29th.
Then that may answer the question, but I'm also considering checking out Oblivion because I never played that, and since now it's remastered or whatever, I might check out that. I might check out Baldur's Gate 3 finally.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some games on my list. Not going to be doing too much in Destiny other than a raid here or there. And then in other entertainment, I've talked about this a little bit, but I don't think officially on this show yet, but finally started up Severance. I knew I was going to like the show.
Yes.
But holy...
It's out there.
I'm not going to say
it's out there.
Final word. No, I love it. This is the type of show that I need. I give it like a 9.5 or a 10 for season 1.
Yep.
And season 2, I rank it down a little bit. I haven't finished it. I have like 3 episodes left. I rank it down a little bit just because they try to be a little too expansive. I prefer just the set pieces where they're in 99% of the time in season 1. But season 2, I give it like an 8.5 or a 9. Still really, really good. And so glad I'm going to be finishing up tonight. I have like 2 episodes left, so
nice,
I'm excited
man.
to get.
Oh my God, I can't believe you're binging it. Yeah, I can't talk because I've been binging a few shows too, and I'll mention that in a minute. Anything else you want to break on?
That is about it.
Okay,
turn it over to you.
All right, I have not really been playing much video games this week. Only video game I did play, we did run a Deepstone Crypt raid with, of course, my co-host Kingsley. Allocate, Running Red Line, Zombie Pops was back, and HD Tech joined us this time. I did get my Solar 200 RPM Scout Trustee, which is one of my favorite legendary scouts in the game because it is a 200. I actually crafted 2 of these rifles, one for PvE with enhanced reconstruction and enhanced incandescent. The second is a PvP roll with enhanced perpetual motion and enhanced opening shot. I cannot wait to try that in Iron Banner coming up. Hopefully we'll be streaming another Deepstone Crypt raid, I think, because I still got some red borders to get for that. We'll have to see if Saturday if we can get enough players together to do it, but I definitely would like to run another one if we can. But that's all I've been doing in gaming this week was that Saturday. I've just been so busy working, and I'm trying to get ready for my UK trip, so I'm doing a lot of stuff in the background that you don't see. But my wife and I did see 2 movies this week using my AMC Stubs A-List membership, and it is not sponsored. And the first movie we saw this week was The Amateur, starring Rami Malek. I've liked his stuff ever since his first hit TV show, Mr. Robot. It's about a high-level CIA technical expert who is confined to a kind of a tech lab in the CIA headquarters. But when he finds out his wife is killed by some underground criminals, when a burglary goes wrong, she's taken as a hostage. He insists that he's be trained so that he can go out, as an actual field agent and avenge his wife's death. The story had some holes in it, but it could be kind of easily overlooked because it's a story of how this wimpy tech nerd gets creative in evading his peers, for one, because they were trying to not allow him to do this. And there's a reason why he was able to. I won't spoil it. And second, he's still getting revenge on his wife's killer. My wife was not a fan of this movie for reference, but I was entertained, and I give this one 3 stars. Even though it was just an okay movie, it's worth your time watching, and I think Rami Malek kind of sells the show. So when that comes out on streaming, definitely catch it. The second movie we watched in the theater this week was supposed to be that horror suspense movie Drop that I mentioned last week, but my wife convinced me to see the latest Michael B. Jordan light horror movie called Sinners. It had such high marks. It had 98% from critics, certified fresh, 97% from the audience. I'm like, damn, that must be a hell of a movie. So we changed plans. We went ahead and saw it last night, in fact. It's all about a 1930s era small town where 2 notorious twin brothers, both played by Michael B. Jordan, they take their winnings from a life of crime and buy a local still, where they are actually a local mill where they organize a gin joint. If you don't know what that is, back in the Prohibition America, gin joints were very popular because they were barely legal bars, but they're in like far from downtown, kind of in a town bar, a barn or a mill where people just get together and drink and dance and stuff. There is, of course, a dark twist in this story that I won't spoil here, but I must say it was entertaining. Let me get that straight. But I've seen plenty of these kinds of movies dating back to the 80s, and there wasn't really anything special about it. I'm going to go against the grain on this one. I give this movie, again, 3 stars. It was just an okay movie for me. It was especially entertaining as The Amateur was, but my wife disagrees, but I thought it was just an okay movie. I was expecting a lot more with those high scores, but just didn't sit well with me for that score. I think it was overhyped, to be honest. I saw a lot of fantastic shows this week on the streaming platforms. First, I binged over the week and watched the entire 7th season of the Black Mirror on Netflix. Have you caught this yet, Kingsley? Black Mirror season 7?
No. I mean, I watched a little bit of season 1. I think at the beginning it was intriguing enough. I like Severance way
Oh my
better,
God.
but I'll check out Black Mirror.
It's along the same line as that. It's dark,
Yeah.
kind of a techie dark type show. It's a little twisted, and every story just has really original storytelling in it. I mean, it's best I can say, but it has 6 episodes in season 7, and my favorites were probably episode 5, Eulogy, and my most favorite episode was actually the very first episode called Common People. It had Rashida Jones in it, and she did such a great job in it. They're all really, like I said, they're all really stirring stories with that bit of what the fuck, you know? But I really liked all 7 seasons of the show. Check it out if you haven't already. Black Mirror, I've watched all 7 seasons. I've been entertained thoroughly by every one of them because they're just wacky stories. Now, the second new series that I have been waiting for this year is on Disney Plus, and that is the second and final season of Andor. If you've listened to all my past episodes out there, you know that I believe this is probably one of the best written of all the Star Wars streaming stories out there and shows to date, which they did kick off this week with the first 3 episodes, and man, they did not disappoint. The first episode starts off with a bang with a TIE fighter scene that goes berserk, and it opens up with a TIE fighter. Something happens with this TIE fighter in a hangar, and it just right off the bat just sets you right on the edge of your seat to watch it. The first 3 episodes were so good, I've watched them twice. Don't miss out on this one. Disney is rolling these 12 episodes over a 4-week period of time, and they're doing 3 episodes at a time, and each 3, from what I've heard from stories and articles have been talking about this, is each 3 episodes is kind of a certain instance of the storyline, which leads all the way up into Rogue One, which is one of my favorite Star Wars movies. My wife and I are going to see, we're actually going to go out to Disney AMC tomorrow night to see The Accountant 2. I'll report back next week about that one. Finally, if you're looking for a hilarious new show and you have access to Apple TV Plus, check out The Studio. Seth Rogen was involved in the writing of this, and it is comedy gold. My wife and I were laughing our ass off on this show. It is so funny. The second episode we saw just lately is just, I'm just like, what the hell? This is nuts, you know? Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm is also a new show that's out on Apple TV. I've only seen the first couple episodes. I think there's 3 out total now, but it's worth a watch. I thought it was pretty good. And also, just let you know, the latest season of Hacks is now available on HBO Max. So that's it for me for this week. I mentioned movies that are coming up that I want to see. I won't spend time with that because we're running a little late already for me. But let's do this. Let's get into This Week in Destiny. Not the TWAB, the TWID. Andor is fantastic, man. I'm gaga over that show, man. Wow. What story? What storytelling, man. It's just so good.
Yeah, if we can move it along at all, of course. Why'd you have to do 2 topics when we have a guest?
Well, the first topic is actually going to tie into the second, so it's no big deal.
All right.
Let's get into This Week.
Wife is wanting to do something afterwards, and I'm like,
Okay.
oh, sorry, honey. We're like maybe
good.
a third done.
No, we're good. We're into the halfway point. Oh my God, I am half Pedro. Thank you,
Famous
brother.
last words. Halfway point. We'll see.
I am half Pedro. $20 super chat. Thank you, sir. Very cool, dude. Thank you for that, man. We don't get many super chats in here. That's awesome, dude. Thank you, sir. Okay. Bungie.net. Yes. No, I don't want to talk about Marathon. I want to talk about Destiny 2. All right. I did look over the TWAB this time, Kingsley. So we'll breeze through this pretty quickly because it's not really much in this one. I did want to mention the new thing they're talking about, the
Yeah,
event,
that's really
event
the
home.
only thing interesting to me, but whatever you need to talk about too.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2. All right. This week in Destiny for April 24th, 2025. This week in Destiny, we saw you discover this thing. It's not the first time we've seen this community obsessed over something they didn't know was there, and those meaning is yet to be found. We wonder what that might be. No spoilers here. Just a list of topics for today. How smooth was that? It wasn't smooth at all. It was very, very difficult to read that. They're going to talk about preparing for the Edge of Fate reveal. Riddle Me This, another community ARG. New event, Home, coming with heavy metal. Tomorrow's answer will be the next weapon, the rocket launcher in Trials of Osiris this week. And Iron Banner comes out next week. I cannot wait. I've got all kinds of crafted weapons I'm waiting to use on it. Our first Destiny 2 vinyl is now available in the Bungie Foundation and Gamers Engaged. It's a tabletop charity that they talk about. All right, let's get into the nitty gritty here. They talk about Guardian's Gambit. This is not a clue, by the way, just a silly reference. A latest Destiny 2 community puzzle has begun, and all the pieces are starting to move into place during this first week. But we are not helping in any way. Sorry, not sorry. The only thing we'll say is this: don't lose your sanity over it, and rest when needed.
Do you know what this is about?
No, I do not.
I bet you have no clue. Okay, and it's
no
not
clue.
even a spoiler because you probably haven't even loaded into the apartment, have you?
I haven't.
Okay.
I just played the raid last Saturday. Is all I played.
There are these chess. So far, it's nothing that interesting. They're probably going to add more to it eventually. But there's these chess pieces you can get all over, like in the apartment, in the Nether, in other activities. And there's up to 60 right now you can collect. And right now, it's just collecting them. They're just little fetch things. But I'm sure it'll lead to something a little bit more as we go along. And it all has to do with 9 stuff, of course.
A big community event coming up. Okay. All right.
Maybe. I don't know big is the right word, but we'll see.
Okay. We'll see what happens. You think it's going to lead up to the trial, the Ride of the 9 event? You think that's what it's leading up to? Or maybe that'll be the same week as the reveal, right?
Well, yeah, those two are the same. But if you're asking the question of this thing, I don't know if it'll lead up to that or go past it. I'm 50-50 right now on it. So,
okay. All right. Curious. I am half Pedro. Hey, gentlemen, just wanted to say congrats again for the 300 episodes. I missed last week live. You're doing a great job. Honestly, GDC is the last podcast I'm still listening to. Thank you, half Pedro. I am half Pedro. Thank you, man. I know you've been in our community for quite a while. Thank you for that super chat, by the way, sir. That was very nice of you. Okay. The main thing I want to talk about this week is, we have the heavy metal event coming, which they talk about some weird stuff here, man. But there's this thing called the event home. They say on May 6th, Destiny 2 will receive an update, which brings a small sandbox update, a new dungeon-focused activity called Ride of the 9. We've already been talking about that. On May 9th, a new PvP game mode goes by the name Heavy Metal. We talked about that already. It's Briggs against tanks. You already know of that, but Heavy Metal is such a fun, maybe even a bit crazy game mode that we felt like doing something extra. That's the reason we are launching a new event home along with it. Let's see what that's all about. Event homes are the new replacement for event cards. Think of them as your cozy one-stop shop for all events. Rotating challenges every day? Check. A new rank reward track? Check. A page to quick launch into event activities and visit Space Grandma? Check. Page for the event title and your favorite event triumphs? Check. Brand new reward shop to fulfill your Chuck E. Cheese dreams of getting that top shelf puzzle. Prize, I should say. Checkity check check. All for free. Let's break it down. All right. I am going to just quickly read through this. Every event home offers a set of daily challenges that rotate at reset time every day, and then one weekly challenge that resets. You guessed it, weekly. The first are bite-sized single objectives that can be completed in a short playing session, while the weekly challenges are more of a midterm goal that require your attention for the most of the duration of the event. I cannot read tonight. Completing them will cover most of the experience required for the new event rank track. You still get experience when playing the event activities, of course, but challenges grant the most amount. Okay, so we're gonna have like you know how the NPCs have tracks now, like even Iron Banner. So now we're gonna have tracks for daily and weekly tracks, or bounty cards, challenges, whatever you want to call them. I call them bounties to advance this track. So, man, of course, there's more currencies. Of course, you got to do this to us, Bungie. Every event home offers a set of daily challenges. I already talked about that. Heavy Metal will also have some of its own event rank track with 15 tracks available to all players. Each rank has its own reward, like a weapon, an emblem, and enhancement materials. And we believe these rewards alone will make this new system more rewarding than our previous event cards, even on their premium version. And they show a picture here of Heavy Metal and the 6 tracks and the daily challenges up top, and then 1 weekly challenges on the bottom. It's kind of like when you go see, it reminds me of when you see Grandma, and you're doing the like Guardian Games event, how they have the daily bounties and then they have the weekly bounties. It's kind of the same thing, but it's laid out in a more of a horizontal track. Like it's it's a challenge, not a bounty, but I still see it that way. Another key aspect.
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
we've talked about this before. Really, there's not any technical difference between a bounty and a challenge,
really.
especially if we're
Not
talking
really.
daily and weekly. However, I still think challenges are better because you don't have to pick them up. They just complete if you do it.
Yes.
Bounties, you have to pick them up. What's the point? Pick them up, big deal. You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
But like,
and you know how I love how bounties just evaporate after one day
well,
and
these
2
will
hours.
too. The daily ones
Yeah, they do.
are only for a day still, so you
Yeah.
do have to log in daily if you want to get those done.
Expiration date's great.
Just a few. They shouldn't not have a daily thing.
I know.
They will, gives us more to do for the people that do log in daily.
Well, wait a minute. It gets better, but just wait. There's more. Another key aspect of the new event home is the event tokens. Fantastic. More tokens. This is a new currency that is obtained upon completion of daily and weekly challenges, with the latter granting a more generous amount. The tokens you earn by playing during the event can be used in the reward shop to purchase rewards during each event. Our way of making events more rewarding than ever before. Just don't sleep on these tokens. They go away after the event's over. So this is like the event card that you pay $10 for or 1,000 silver for, except this is a free version. Okay, I like this. Okay,
it's a lot more.
I'm warming up to this.
It's a lot more than the event card ever had.
Yeah, that's true. This says this reward shop will have rewards like weapons and materials and a new item called Reroll Chip. This second type of currency can be used to reroll one of your daily challenges. You will use these to accelerate your progress, as you can reroll challenges you have completed already to get an additional daily one. Okay. You can also reroll to get a different challenge if the one available does not fit your playstyle. Reroll chips can be earned in the rank track, and then additional ones are available, of course, in Eververse for a small amount of silver, probably 200 or 300, I'm guessing. They don't expire with the event, so you can carry them to the next event if you want. Moving forward, event homes will replace the event card when Destiny 2 seasonal event is live, like Solstice, Festival of Lost, The Dawning, Guardian Games, like I mentioned, and any other event coming will have their own event home filled with challenges to complete and even greater rewards to earn. And again, no premium update required for it. All rewards, all earnable, that's good to hear, right? People were tired of having to pay $10 to get the rewards in these the event cards that we got usually, So at least that's a good direction. It's a good direction they're going. They say as the Edge of Fate launch date is in summer 2025 approaches, so is the new era of Destiny. We can't wait to tell you more about the many, many changes that will shake up your favorite video game and what the hobby will evolve in the coming years. Event homes will be part of that future, and you'll get a first look when Heavy Metal arrives on May 9th. Okay. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
What do you think of this, guys? This good, bad?
I'll go real quick.
Who cares?
What Taco thinks, because I think this is a positive. This makes events, what we've been calling seasonal events, but Bungie just call them events. I think that's a better term because they don't necessarily have to go with the seasons. I mean, obviously the Christmas one's going to be during Christmas time, but
Yeah.
I think just the word events is better. But anyways, this makes me 10 to 25% more interested actually. And I think it's a good change. My second point is we already kind of knew this was happening, and maybe Gunsmith will eventually change too, but Bungie's been deprecating the word bounty. Now, again, it's not that much different when you look at a daily challenge compared to a daily bounty, but this also is getting rid of bounties. So the next time the Christmas one comes along, they're just going to be these challenges versus bounties that you pick
That's
up.
true.
And again, I think it's a plus because why have to pick up a bounty? That's just pointless. It's just let the stuff be available. I think at one point you said you like picking up bounties though, right? Because we've gone in circles with this. At the beginning of Destiny 2, we didn't have bounties. They were challenges, and then they brought in bounties, and now we're going away again. Do you like actually having to pick up a bounty, or do you think it's just as good it just being there without having to pick it up?
What do you think, Taco?
I mean, I don't really pick up the bounties for the most part, unless
Yeah,
like
same.
they have something that they're worthwhile to do. Even the seasonal bounties, like the ones that I usually will do, when they reduce the amount of bright dust you usually get from them, I was just like, well,
Right.
these are pointless now.
Yeah, I get it. You know, this reminds me of Call of Duty. Call of Duty's done it this way for a long time. Even in zombies, you'll have daily challenges that you complete, and when they automatically complete when you get it done. So
Yeah.
you don't have to go and physically pick one up and stuff. I mean, that has
Exactly.
Yes, you're right, Cam. I do have I do have my little rituals like picking up my gunsmith bounties. But I'll be honest, I haven't picked up a bunch of bounties lately. Obviously I'm playing less of the game, waiting for the next big thing coming to Destiny 2.
Bungie's been warning us that bounties are kind of going away over time, and so we won't be able to bounty stack as much for XP. But that's how it should be. I always thought it was silly, anyways. People did that, and then also, but I think about it some more. Todd, tell me truly how you feel because I think you liked the little sounds they would make when you would turn them in. Are you going to miss that when you're checking them off?
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me
You know?
wrong. There's still lots of bounties. There's still lots of bounties to pick up. If you go to the Destiny item or the Destiny app on your
It is
phone
right now, but there won't be any more seasonal, and I'm guessing even Gunsmith will go away. But anyways,
we'll see. We'll see.
The question was, do you like the sound, not if they're going to go away or not?
The thing I hated when I played Call of Duty Zombies about these daily challenges, what if I like how they have the reroll chip. That's very important because it'll be like I'll play zombies and it'll say, use this weapon against, 500 zombies or whatever it may be. Whatever. They're usually pretty crazy bounties or daily challenges. And I'm like, man, I don't have that weapon yet, or I don't like using that weapon or whatever, but this makes it where you can actually choose. Yeah. That's what I like. But if they have the reroll chip, maybe that'll make it different for me. But I like being able to pick and choose what bounties I want to go for that day and just throw them in my inventory. And then if they get done, great. If they don't, they don't. But we'll have to just see. But
will you miss the sound? That's still my question.
Yeah. Man, I wish I had my soundboard on right now. I would just unload
because
that
you've
sound.
even said it was like a dopamine thing.
It is. As an ADHD guy, I love hearing that sound, man. Every time I hear it, every time I hear the jingle and the coins, I'm like, it's a little dopamine hit. I like that. All right, we'll move on. Trials of Osiris, like I said, the launcher is coming out this week. More Iron Banner next week. And keep in mind, May 24th, they say you might want to keep some Iron Banner Engrams if you don't need to use them this time, because the next edition, which is May 24th, there's going to be 3 new weapons added to some activities, and Iron Banner is one of them. I think I know what this is going to be, but I'll just let it play out and see what they say. But save your Iron Banner Engrams. You don't have to turn them in. This is not the last Iron Banner of the season. So if you've got all the weapons, you've got everything, you're focusing on Iron Banner next week, save them for the 24th because there's new weapons coming. That's what I'm going to be doing. So, okay. Let's see. Moving through here. I did want to mention this. The Bungie Foundation supports Gamers Engaged. The Bungie Foundation is once again excited to participate in the Gauntlet. I remember this from last year. A fundraising and tabletop gaming competition supporting our partners at Gamers Engaged. We've got a brand new fired up emblem available for $25 donation, and even your chance to get your self-portrait or a picture of your furry friend hand drawn by a Bungie staffer. All proceeds will support Gamers Engaged and their Play It Forward Fund, a program focused on providing grants to small organizations making real change in mental health, education, and community. Donations are open now until May 18th. I just want to make sure you mention that. And man, if you donate I think is what they say, $25. Man, that emblem is fantastic looking. What do you think, Kingsley? You gonna donate $25 for that? It's going
I
to a
may or
good
may
cause.
not.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's a great cause. The money's
Yeah.
not the issue. I do think that emblem's pretty cool. Maybe I
It's
will.
really
I'll
nice.
have to
I
I'll
might.
have to highly consider that.
I'll probably do it. I usually donate everything that comes around. I don't miss much, but okay.
Mhm.
Player support report. Sunless Cell Grandmaster is not available in Fireteam Finder. That's the one I thought was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But anything else?
I mean, yeah, they should fix that, but
Yeah. Anything else in there, Kingsley, that you see we want to mention?
actually, the one that's more interesting to me, what people were talking about in the Discord, because remember, people, for two reasons,
Yeah.
they can't add every issue in this list. It would be much longer. Also, some are just not worth mentioning for whatever reason. But to me, this is a big one. People have been saying that in that Sunless Cell strike, you can't get all the champs. Something's bugged, so you can't get
I
platinum.
heard that.
Let me know
Yeah.
if that's different, but that kind of sucks, I think, because
Yeah.
no matter what version you run it on, you won't get as many rewards, which is sad because, and
Yeah.
you still get a lot of rewards. Remember, this is double rewards week. So everyone go in at least on the lowest version. You also get that cool emblem, which we talked about last week, just running this strike, at least on some version, Nightfall Advanced or higher. At least go in advanced because it's match made, super easy. It doesn't feel much harder than the strike version, and give it a try. But maybe they'll find a way to fix that. They should probably just auto-complete it to platinum if there's one that's bugged.
Yeah, I agree.
That's some pretty bad shit that's broken there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's it. That's all I wanted to share on this tonight. We're done for today. We are starting to rev up the engines as we approach May 6th, the reveal of Edge of Fate and the arrival of Rite of the Nine. Tons of info to share. Stay tuned as we unveil everything in the coming weeks and months. Before you leave us, check out this Dado video. We had a great time watching. If you want to go down memory lane as we approach a new era of Destiny with Edge of Fate, you'll love it. Obligatory meme template here, and you can click on it if you like. That's it. That's the TWAB for this week. I'm really excited to get into this, and I was rushing through just so we can have extra time on this, but our topic of the week is next. Sorry, I had to breeze through that. I want to make sure we didn't kill too much time on the TWAB since it didn't say a whole lot this week. I did want to mention the home
even quicker.
You're right. Okay. I'm going to start out with a topic, and then we're gonna kind of transition into yours, Taco. So, and I definitely want to get into this, but just want to mention something first. All right, here we go. All right, for our topic of the week, I actually came across an article which kind of got my antennae up a little bit, and that's the fact that even though the closed alpha has already started for Marathon, the fact that they are telling you to wish list the game in Steam or wherever you decide to play the game, they don't have a price yet. I wonder why that is. My guess is that they're waiting to see what the alpha players think in the closed alpha. And I don't think they've made their decision on what they want to price the game at yet. What do you guys think about this?
We like to try to go with the guest first. Taco, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, as far as like they're not sure what to price it at. I think the global market as far as gaming goes, maybe they're not sure how to price it yet, because I mean, when you're in, our gaming market, gaming's been pretty consistently priced for, however long, for like the last 20, 30 years easy. But like places in like Brazil or Australia, gaming's like a premium hobby. Like average game cost is the equivalent to, if I remember correctly, what I heard is like a standard deluxe edition here maybe is like $100, but like in these other regions it's like the equivalent of like 160 US. So it could be they're trying to crunch the macros on, with everything going on in the global economy.
Okay.
I think it's less that and more along the lines of they don't want to put a price tag on it yet because they're not truly done, finalizing things moving into the next phase. Because I mean, we're in 0.5 alpha stage behind a closed test group, and they're probably going to get the initial like hardcore bugs and key systems kind of hammered out here, and then maybe move on to a higher technical spec and like 0.65 or 0.7 or whatever the next rollout for alpha or beta is going to be.
Okay. What do you think, Kingsley? You agree with that?
Yeah, I 100% agree. They would be shooting themselves in the foot if they announced the price now, even if the price was pretty low, because when you have an alpha, you should never have a price yet. Because let's say you have a price and the alpha doesn't go well, and people have to remember alpha is not anywhere necessarily near how the final game will come out. So if they have a price and the alpha doesn't get great reception, that's worse than if they didn't tell us a price until a little bit later. Now, I think by the beta-ish, we should be getting a price, and I think we will based on the rumors I heard. You know, as far as also the question, can they vary the price some? I think at this point, maybe only $10 one way or the other. The investors, the leadership, everyone is not gonna, let's say they had a price point of 40 in their mind, right? Because we were that's a very common number that people are talking about right now. We know it's not going to be full price because we do know that they told us it's going to be a premium price game, not a full price game. So let's say 40 was the original price they were thinking. I could see them changing that by $10. When I was talking on the DPS podcast, some people were thinking this game will actually be 50. I'm predicting 40, maybe it can be 30, but I don't think it's going to change that much. And I also think it's good that they didn't tell us the price yet.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought that was odd. Call of Duty, man, you're pre-ordering those games like you could pre-order those games like 6, 7, 8 months ahead, even sometimes. And I'm just a little baffled why they don't have a price yet. And if they really stand behind their game and they really think it's going to be great, I think they're so worried about another Concord issue coming up. But just keep in mind, this isn't Concord. This isn't a hero shooter. It's an extraction shooter. I get that. But I think maybe they want to get more promotion in front of them first, showing off this game before they start throwing prices out there too. Plus, if you, like you said, you may have to pre-order the game to play the beta coming up. But hey, we don't have a ton of time here, man. It's September. You know, quick September is going to fly by.
Yeah, but it's still a good 5.5 months based on when they first told us stuff a couple weeks ago.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was my quick topic. I just wanted to bring that up because, being that it was topical, because the alpha was running this week. But I'm going to turn the topic that I'm really looking forward to getting into to our guest, AmazingTacoKing. Floor is yours, sir.
Well, before we jump into that, let me ask you one real quick question here, Todd. Would you think it'd be better, honestly, like if they had done what, Bethesda and Virtuous had just done this past week? We saw a leak for Oblivion Remastered back in January with no confirmation on it from the official studio until literally the day before, and the reveal, it literally launched and shadow dropped alongside the reveal. Would you feel like that would be a better route for Marathon to take at this point?
It could be, because people didn't expect this, and maybe the hype and the adrenaline when people see this, that there's a revamped version of a game they loved and grew up with, maybe that would just be a little extra on the end, right, to get them to pull the trigger, and then they mention the price. Yeah, it could very well be what Marathon's trying to do, but I'm just going to be honest, man. I have not been sold on Marathon yet. I am not sold on this game yet, and I'm actually a little concerned. I have very high standards for Bungie games, and what I saw today just really, I'm worried. I'm really worried. So anyway.
When you say Bungie games, do you really mean anything besides Destiny? Have you played
all
the old Bungie
games? No. I played
Yeah.
Halo. You can ask my son. I played Halo games in the past.
But all the Halos and the old Marathon and Oni and
no, I did not. I did not. No, I did not play the old Marathon.
Todd. Bungie doesn't always make great games.
Okay, all right. I mean, I played. I played. I remember playing Halo 2 with my son, but I really played the whole campaign solo on the very last Halo game. But I've never been a super Halo fan, but just the looks were really good. But I don't know. I just have, think about it. Bungie's a 10-year-old game, and look how good and how well it feels when you grab a gun and go into Crucible or even into a raid or whatever. I have not seen many games that good. And maybe they just shot themselves in the foot and made too good a game. I don't know. But I have very high standards when it comes to a first-person shooter game from Bungie now. And I figured 6 years later, after the 10-year saga that was Destiny and continues to go on, I just expected a little bit more. That's all. That's where I'm coming from
The
on this.
gunplay is going to be as good. You just want a different stylization, right?
We'll have to see. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, even Astrocross noticed things were kind of fuzzy and weren't.
Well, it's alpha, right?
It's
now.
alpha. I get it.
Yeah,
I get
that
it.
was also one of the key points that they said going
Right.
into the alpha, what to look towards. And they said, here's what you should be talking about as far as like reporting things. And
Yeah.
they literally said in one of the bullet points is like, we understand this is not fully developed. This is not
Right.
fully fleshed out. Some instances and, you know,
Yeah.
graphics are not there. So, I mean, I think basing it on
Even some
how it
gunplay
looks
stuff's not
currently,
there yet.
Yeah.
is not 100% where it needs to be. And then also I think honestly, because you mentioned, you know, look how great Destiny has been. Like,
Mhm.
you gotta remember back when Destiny first came out, the gunplay wasn't as great as it is.
I thought it was good back
It-
then. I came
I
from
mean,
Call of
even
Duty,
back
which
then-
was the king of shooters back then. I mean, I think I was coming from Black Ops 2. I don't know. I played so
Well,
many
he didn't
Call
say
of
it
Duty
wasn't
games.
good. He said it wasn't as good as it is now.
I don't know, man.
they definitely refined it.
Okay. I still remember it feeling really good back in Destiny 1 days.
Well, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Amazing Talk King. Go on with your topic. I don't want to kill too much time here. I want to get into this.
Okay. Yeah, so for my topic I brought with me, I figured I'd ask this because I'm not much of a PvPer, and I know, you know, Kingsley says he's not much of a PvPer as well. With you being a PvP main, Todd, with Marathon coming later this year and going into Alpha this week, do you think Bungie will keep letting PvP elements of Destiny 2 stagnate more? And keep, you know, adding these small little patch notes for the sandbox, just essentially band-aids for what feel like sometimes, you know, big wounds in gap and like gameplay elements. Or do you think at this point they're not able to fix them and they can only keep throwing little band-aids out because either the limitation of the engine or just because they've decided to move on to a different PvP project?
I have a little bit to say about this. And I mean, I think anybody who plays Crucible over the last 5 years knows that Bungie has kind of treated Crucible like it's redheaded stepchild. No offense to redheads. The Crucible community has cried out so many times that of things they need to do to make this game better. And Bungie's just really not replied really much to it. I mean, I have to give them credit. The fact that they revamped Trials was a really big step. I mean, I think that was a great change for Trials of Osiris, especially for Crucible players out there that are kind of on the fence playing Trials or maybe intimidated by playing it. And I was one of those players. If I had a full fire team that I could play with every week in, week out, I never had that. I always played as a solo player for the most part in Crucible. So I really didn't fit into the Trials model. But when they revamped it and they got rid of the freelance pool and they just made it where you can just go in and play solo and get matched up against 2 other players, that was a big step, which I think brought in a lot of players, at least initially, to at least try Trials out. And the weapons are pretty sweet, notwithstanding some of the weapons like the rocket launcher I could care less about this week. But there's a hand cannon in there that's really good, even for PvE players. But, you know, the fact that I think Bungie has most of its Crucible developers, I think, are focusing on Marathon, you know, as their premier PvP game now. And I remember back in the long days, they should make a PvP only game. I was one of those people who cried out, you know, what if Bungie made a separate PvP game and then had a PvE game that we could play and do raids and stuff with? And that's kind of what they're doing here. It's not officially, you know, Destiny, but it is a science fiction, you know, like a sci-fi first person shooter like the Crucible was. But when the sandbox lead, Chris Proctor, left Bungie for another gaming project, that kind of tells me maybe Crucible is kind of on cruise control right now. And I'm nothing against Chris. I think that where he moved, what project he went to, was definitely a promotion for him. But maybe I'm thinking that maybe he saw what was coming up for Crucible, and I can't put words in his mouth, but I'm just speculating at this point. But maybe he saw something that, that maybe Crucible was going to be kind of left alone for a while. I another point is the fact that they're making the cheat detection system more automated, that they're going to be putting that in Crucible soon. Could that be because the Crucible team and the cheater moderation support has been diminished somewhat, with all the layoffs over time? And yes, I know they did say that appeals were going to be manually checked by an employee of Bungie, but all I know is Jeff, Warcry, and I play every week, and we still have fun. There's a lot of people in our community that still play Crucible nights every week and have a great time playing. So I don't think Crucible will die, but I am concerned that maybe the PvP minds over at Bungie Studios might be more worried about what's going on in Marathon right now. So I kind of agree with that argument. What do you think, Kingsley? I know you directed it to me.
I totally disagree. And I think people are going to use that as an excuse when we're not getting a lot of love in Crucible. But we have to remember, we already haven't been getting a lot of love in Crucible.
Nothing's really changed, right?
I think Marathon is a totally different department, cost center, yada, yada, yada. The bigger issue with the problems we had in Destiny 2 is layoffs overall, which has affected Destiny department. Also, the engine, like you said, like the state of where it is, it's there's only so much they can do. I don't think it's going to, quote, stagnate more because of Marathon. It's just going to stagnate more because Destiny 2 isn't doing great population-wise anyways. So maybe they're going to start seeing that, like if we have to put money somewhere in the game, PvE always has to go first. I mean, hate to admit it, but like even being a PvE main, they kind of have to have that first. That's where they get the most sales. So
Hazel and I talked about this long ago, about how, if I remember correctly, Hazel did not want PvP to drop off of Destiny and be replaced by a PvP only game. And I realize it's a totally different game. We're talking arena shooter versus an extraction shooter. But if you think about it, Kingsley, 5 or so years ago, when nothing new was coming out, no new maps, not anything new was coming out for Crucible. With every new expansion that came out, there's maybe a couple little extra little tidbitty things that they were dropping. Maybe there's an argument that that's because the PvP team went over to Marathon and split up from Destiny, and the fact they didn't have as many PvP minded developers in the Destiny studio part of Bungie. But
back then they keep adding more and more employees all the time. So I don't know if people can really use that argument. I know that's the argument people want to use, but
I mean,
they kept adding employees back then. They kept adding employees until 2002, I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it was when they finally started cutting, but a couple years ago, I don't know. But maybe, but even before that 5 years ago argument, even if the team moved over, then they've told us that it's separate, and that obviously we see they're working on things. They did the Trials revamp. I just think if you look at the whole Destiny history in general, even Destiny 1 through now, there's a lot of times where PvP doesn't get as much focus for whatever reason. Maybe the things they're working on take a lot of time, so they just can't bring it out quickly. Maybe it's because they just, when they lost all the extra studios through Activision and stuff, it's harder to make more maps. There can be a lot of reasons why, but I don't think Marathon it has much of an effect on the teams that are currently in Destiny. And I know people are going to blame it. They're going to not believe it. They're going to be like, I see this now with everything, PvE also. If Marathon does good or bad, people are going to complain in Destiny. If Destiny is not getting the love that they want, they are going to blame it on Marathon. And I kind of am getting sick of the argument, even though it's not even here yet.
Well, Cam in the chat says, what do you want them to do with the Crucible? Where should I start? The fact that we still are using revamped weapons in Iron Banner alone, and they're introducing one little weapon. I remember in Destiny 1, every season or every expansion was a whole different theme of 10 weapons coming to Iron Banner. And I remember jumping to Iron Banner in Destiny 1 because I couldn't wait to get these weapons. And they had really cool names. They had really cool specs to them and everything. And the elephant in the room, look how limited we have of maps. Look how many maps they took off the board and didn't really replace them with anything until very recently. They brought back 3 new maps. And that's 3 new maps in 5 years. That's not right. If they want to keep a Crucible players intact to play Destiny 2 Crucible, they need to give us more maps. They need to bring back at least the old maps that we played in Destiny 2. I remember in Destiny 2 Iron Banner, my God, there were so many maps to play, and now it's about half, which it makes no sense. They can call it sunsetting or whatever, or content vault or whatever. I don't care. They need to bring all these maps back. So that's what they need to do with the Crucible, Cam. But, well, I'm curious what you have to think about this. Taka, what do you think, man? You made the argument.
For starters, what I think would be a good move in the right direction, and this is just from my perspective, because to me, I just feel like PvP as a whole, with all the RNG from getting, different perk combos on different weapons that are similar but not the same in certain aspects.
Yeah.
I think a good, way to possibly revamp Crucible, maybe disable that and just disable the perks and make the guns work on their own merit. Then you have a baseline versus, I have the same gun that you have, but you have the PvP role, I have the PvE role, and that because honestly, when you look at Destiny as a whole, and I mean, maybe the argument can go even further down the rabbit hole of maybe it's not just a balancing issue with Destiny's PvP. Maybe it could just be like, I mean, honestly, to me, it feels like Destiny has an identity crisis at times. It's trying to be so much of so many genres, but it's failing to meet the bare minimum metrics. And some of it's like, first and foremost, you said this in the past a lot, it's a looter shooter. Well, other looter shooter games that I've played, I mean, Borderlands is the first one that comes to mind, and you talked about this last week. When you kill an enemy, if it's a really big enemy, there's a chance you're going to have like 30 items drop from
Exactly. It erupts with guns.
Diablo also.
Diablo, action RPGs for like Diablo, Path of Exile, Last Epoch. I mean, you hit something hard enough, and if it's a loot goblin, a good example. I mean, it's a pinata. It'll drop like 15 things, and you're going to scramble to pick them all up. I mean, yeah, you get a lot of things get lost in the mix there, but I mean, like at the core, if Destiny is a looter shooter, I feel like when I'm going through a strike and I come out with 10 to 20 minutes of game content that I've just played, and I'm only coming out with 2 prizes, and neither one of them even tickle like remotely close to what I have currently equipped, like in any facet or aspect. It's just like, well, I got the shooter, I lost my looter. But I mean, for me, I feel like if they turned off, perks in general, and it was just based on, weapon bases as just a starting point, maybe that would help improve Crucible's, I don't know if you would call it, reputation, but just like in general would maybe revitalize some people's opinions.
They've lost so many players, man. They've lost so many players in Crucible because they just really have not changed much. And I'm sorry, we can only play these stale maps so many times, and you just have to keep adding something into the game to invigorate it. And whenever they would release new maps, that was content that lasted months, because we had to learn a new map. But like I said, just the fact that they just keep bringing back revamped weapons, that nothing, not bringing really anything new to the game. And they do bring one weapon, maybe every expansion, they bring one weapon in Trials and one weapon in Iron Banner. And I do love the Joxer's longsword pulse rifle. I've been farming that thing forever, but other than that, there's nothing in the Crucible focusing line that I care about, trying to focus, because I already have so many rolls of these guns from all the time I've put in Crucible. So I think that's the problem. And I don't think it's going to to answer your question, I don't think it's going to help the situation. The fact that Marathon's coming out soon and a lot of attention from the studio is going to go that way. But I just think it's not so much that it's going to go there. I don't think there's much left at Destiny in the Crucible department to develop new guns and weapons and new armor and things like that. I just don't think there's enough people there to do it anymore.
Well,
And
yeah,
that's
there
what
already
worries me.
isn't.
Yeah, they've laid off so many people. Yeah.
Did you know, guys, that today at 5 p.m. Eastern, we hit the lowest all-time ever for Destiny on Steam? But again, just representative, I'm sure it'll be the lowest all-time ever on the other platforms either. We got down to about 10,000.
10,000 on Steam?
Yep.
Wow. I mean, let's think.
There's been lower times, but that's when we've had like server issues when it was like, so the lowest when the servers were running good.
Yeah.
It was,
And you know,
that doesn't really surprise me nowadays, honestly, because I mean, there's so many ways to consume a game now. Because I mean, up until what, like a year and a half ago, everyone was making their own launcher when Epic Games branched out from Steam's, our Steam. And I mean, you can look at Epic Games Launcher. You have Destiny on there. You have the Xbox app. If PlayStation had a PlayStation app for PC, I guarantee you'd see it there too.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty representative. We can't get the actual numbers for the other consoles and stuff, but and we used to hover like a couple years ago. The lowest we would hover would be like, well, 60,000 to 75,000 used to be the lowest for several years.
Yeah.
But then the last couple years,
30 was the lowest, and now 10. That's for all activities in Destiny on PC and Steam.
Yes.
That's not higher. I mean, granted, I haven't been playing because I'm waiting for the next event to come up. And other than our weekly raids, I really don't have anything on my list. I play comp or
we've had other times where we haven't had things to do in previous years too. So it's still representative worse right now than it's been in previous years.
Do you think the Marathon alpha had something to do with that? Maybe eyes are more on the alpha. You don't think so?
No, because first of all, we don't know that many people in the community that actually even got codes. It's very, 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 very small
definitely
percentage.
Thin. Yeah.
And also,
it probably did help. But it probably did help. Also, I mean, the fact that majority of Destiny streamers have access codes, so those are your usual day-to-day grinders. So
that's true.
That was yesterday.
Effect.
Yesterday, Destiny did good. Actually, it was today that was really bad. Yesterday, Destiny's lowest point was 23,000.
Wow. That's crazy.
No, I'm sorry. At one point, it got down to 15. I'm forgetting the whole thing here, but today it got down to about 10.
10,000. I've never heard that number.
Well, I think also the small underlying contributing fact to that too is 10 years in the making, the story Light and Dark Saga. A lot of people probably just tied a nice little bow on the package and said, I've had my fun.
Yeah.
Bungie has some issues with Destiny.
No doubt.
I'm enjoying other things. I don't have time to enjoy this game that much anymore. And then, the unknown side of like, is next week gonna launch without a hitch on reset day? Is because I mean, with the layoffs and stuff and everything just coming down to skeleton crews, for the most part, you're seeing more issues time and time again. A lot of people after a while just get tired of, well, I'm here to play my favorite game. Well, I gotta wait 3 hours to play my favorite game now. I've only got 3 hours to play today, so I'm gonna go play something else. And then eventually you just stop playing that game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the reveal brings. We'll see what the new Ride of the Nine brings, see what the player numbers are then. One thing I do know about Destiny players is when there's new content that comes out, the Destiny players, they come back. How many is definitely less than it used to be, but they definitely come back. So,
and they drop off quicker than it used to be too. We're still going down in general. Yeah.
Well, that goes back to my point, repeatable activities that are still fun to do. Even the Nether, I must admit, even the Nether right now, I've run a lot of Nether with you, Kringsley, and with Sin as well, and members of our community. And I'm just not as excited about it anymore. I've already run it. I know all the encounters. I know the loot. I'm not really trying to get my Tomb of Want fully ranked up. I just don't see the need to do it because I play what I want to play in the game, and that's usually raiding and Crucible.
or spicier opinion, they can't make any repeatable activity that'll appeal to enough people. They need a new game.
Yeah, like I said last week,
Yep.
instead of making a PvP only game, maybe they should have been working on a PvE game.
Yes. Well, I've said that for,
I know,
a year or
I
so
know.
now.
I'm coming around. I'm coming around. So we'll have to see.
And everyone's going to come around by next year. I mark my words, by like fall or spring.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I told you guys this like 2 years ago.
Yeah. We'll have to see. If Marathon is starts off with a bang and then it starts to fade, people start to go back to their normal games that they stream and have been doing for years with like Fortnite and other extraction shooters out there. We'll have to just see. And I'm curious if Marathon falls off and doesn't get the legs that Bungie is hoping it does. I wonder if they're going to come back to say, okay, let's refocus on Destiny. What do you think? You think they'll do that?
No. They'll fire those employees. They won't move them over to Destiny because money's already an issue right now. Yeah.
Man, I worry about Bungie. I mean, they definitely got a lot riding on this Marathon game. So I'm not totally
That's my opinion.
saying no, I won't play it, but I am worried. I'm worried. So we'll just have to see. And I'm probably in the elite, the elite minimalist people out there who think that, because it's very hype right now. A lot of people are enjoying Marathon. I'll just sit back and watch and see, and just see what happens. So I hate to be negative about games, but yeah, I'm just from what I'm seeing.
Negative, it's realistic.
Negative, from what I'm saying. I'm not trying to dispel and saying Marathon sucks, because I haven't played it. I can't say it sucks. But
it's your opinion. Yeah. Negative is only if you're using like harsh words. And see, this is a little
true
diatribe I like to go on.
Mm-hmm.
People will sometimes think people are being negative if they have a different opinion than them. But no, it's only negative if you use harsh words, push the issue too hard, like you're repeating it 5 times in a row, like, no, I'm right. Like we're not being negative. We're being, different people have different opinions, or hopeful or realistic, whatever you want to call it. But we're not being negative.
Well, let's get off that heavy subject, because I'm already bummed out. But let's
bring out the best.
No, thanks, Taco. It was something actually on top of my mind. That crossed my mind too, and I just never thought to bring it up. And the fact that you brought it up, it's a good topic, man. It's something we definitely need to talk about. So let's lighten up the mood a little bit here and get questions from our community, and we'll do that right after this. All right.
I thought it was an excellent question. I loved, because it brought multiple points into it.
Yeah, that got heavy for me. I got to admit, that got heavy for me. So, okay. Well, we'll start with our question of the week. Why not? Let's just do that first, and then we'll get into the other part, other questions we have in the Discord. Let me pull these up real quick, because I have to get them off my phone. Let's see.
Even your son agrees with me. Destiny needs to make a new game.
Yeah, I'm thinking they banked on the wrong game, but we'll have to see. Time will tell there. Okay, question of the week. Okay.
I don't know, with the gameplay loop being so quick and turnaround, and with it being an extraction game with that risk reward mentality there, they still reward you even when you fail. So I feel like that's going to help it.
I get that, but I'm curious if the ritual gameplay is going to be, if the hook is going to be there to keep people coming back, and that's what I'm worried about. We'll have to see, because I was watching Lupo, and who else was gaming with him today? He was sniping, in fact. He had some crispy snipes too. Can't remember, but he hasn't played Destiny in forever, and here he is playing Marathon. So we'll have to just see. All right, here we go. 3, 2. Okay, let's get into our question of the week before we get to our Discord questions from the community. This week, our question was, now that Heresy story is complete, what are you going to do in Destiny 2 until Edge of Fate arrives this summer? A, I'm still finishing story content. That was 8%. B, I'm working on triumphs or titles. That was 16%. C, weekly ritual activities include strikes, basic PvP, and gambit. That was 5%. D, dungeons, 13.89%. Raids was a good 25%. That was a strong number. PvP comp, 2%. PvP trials, nobody even left an answer for trials, if that tells you the state of things in trials. Grind for weapons, 8%. Taking a break from it, and from some or all of it, that was 11%. and other put in comments. That was 8%. So let's see what comments were left
Real
here.
quick, we had
Yep.
20 unique voters on here, so
Yep.
a little bit less than some of the other weeks. We always appreciate people voting. So just 20 people, it's maybe not representative of the whole our
That's
community,
true.
but it's still at
It's
least a
true.
small sample size.
Yeah.
But I love how Raids got the highest.
I'm amazed by that. I mean, but Raids is the ultimate in game in PvE, I think. So Kilvin, who's in our chat tonight in Discord, he says, I'm mostly looking forward to Rite of the Nine. It'll be interesting to see what weapons are available and try the different dungeon modes. I agree. Kingsley, Deadpool 1 Merc, I selected other because I'm doing random things and messing around with the Warlock and Titan. So developing your other characters, that's a good reason. It is downtime for Destiny. Zombie Pops, I usually don't worry about titles until I have nothing else to do. It's a list the game checks off for you. Easy way to kill time, of course, between raids. Steel Zealot, playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's the one game recently that has captivated me enough to pull me away from Destiny. I still raid and such, but I've got other games to play as I don't care as much for triumphs and titles. Jimmy Rayner, cannot bring myself to do anything in Destiny right now. I only hopped in for 3 games to finish my Conqueror, but that was it for the last 2 weeks and ongoing. There's just so much good stuff playable right now. Old titles and new. Even older games are getting so much content through modding right now. StarCraft 2 still going crazy. Mods are still getting patched. Baldur's Gate, obviously, Fallout, London, that developers even want to get into monetizing these mods like crazy. That's interesting. So we had several comments about it, and I figured since this is kind of it's kind of end of season. We always have a gap from the end of season until the new activities come around. There's always a big drop off, and that's why I came up with a question, because I was really curious what everyone was thinking in the Discord when it came to what you do in downtime in Destiny. So thank you for those who answered this week's question of the week. So let's get into our questions. And we have a couple of questions for Amazing Taco King tonight. Zombie Pop says, what exactly are the duties of a king of tacos, and how do you do them amazingly?
Day to day is just making sure, keep Gator in check. Gotta make sure he's in check. And I think I do a pretty amazing job.
Okay. Taujo Trade says, did you jump straight to king, or were you a prince or duke or something first? Do you have a rivalry with Burger King?
Nah, me and Jerry are cool.
Okay.
Now Ronald, Mr. McDonald, we have some issues with him.
Okay. All right. McMaximo has a question for all of us here. During the great vault clearing of 2025, and let me get that let me mention that, because last week after the Deepstone Crypt raid, we did do the 100 things cleaned for my vault, and there was 5 guns that I said I was definitely going to veto if it came around. So Maximo's calling me out here. He says, you said you had 5 weapons you were going to veto, but only mentioned one by name. Which 5 weapons and why? So, okay, that's fine. I'll go to my dim and I'll tell you. The first one, of course, the first one I vetoed was my original OG blast furnace. I actually have 2 of them. They have different sights on them because you can't get sights on weapons anymore. So 2 of my 5 weapons were 2 blast furnaces. One had the Sato precision lens, and the other one had another one too, had the Mayron RDL sight, which is more of a long range sight. So that's the reason. Those are the 2 I definitely were going to veto. You can probably guess that another pulse rifle, of course, was on my veto list. That was the original Bygones that had outlaw kill clip. And I have like 10,000 kills on this weapon. So I wasn't about to delete this one because of, like we talked about, the kill counters, which is, kind of I don't know, maybe they should have like a database where you can actually, when they pull a weapon up, it'll tell you how many kills you've gotten with that weapon, period. That would be really a nice, little thing they could change. My 4th veto was going to be my Taraxipus. I got actually 2 of them, but the one I'm thinking of right now, I have on my character here. It is a double It has double perks on column 3 and column 4. Explosive payload, 4 times the charm, cascade, and gut shot straight. I just had an arrowhead break, which was the important part. That weapon I have not put down. Even in Crucible, I'm knocking heads with that weapon. So that was my 4th weapon. And my 5th weapon was my Gnawing Hunger. It had a dual perk on it as well. It had multi-kill clip, but Demolitionist and Zen Moment. And it is just a really good feeling auto rifle. Void, of course, because it goes with my Void Warlock. So there's the 5 weapons. There were actually more than 5, but I was hoping that no one would notice them. But those are the 5.
Kingsley, you can tell him to get rid of that inaugural address now.
Well,
oh, that's right.
you're
Yeah,
past it, but
he was. I got
maybe
now.
you lose another bet.
I gotta admit, Kingsley was very civil about the whole thing. He and my fire team and people in the live chat were all chiming in on what to get rid of. And
You know what was cool?
Yep.
By the end, you were taking the lead. Like at first, I was like, "This is taking forever," but
yeah.
by the time we got down to like
Yeah.
60 deleted,
Yeah.
you were kind of like, "Oh, I guess I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this," and you really started seeing the.
I started seeing the light. I started seeing the light. I said, because damn it, Kate and Ronan were very good about, and Zombie Pops for that reason, were very good about.
Was helpful. Yep.
Very, they were good at reasoning out why I should not have these weapons. And hi LP, and so yeah, I just kind of saw the light by the end of it. So thanks for that, guys. You guys are very civil about it.
So did the inaugural address make the cut?
Yeah, there only was the one veto that he had to use. I guess the other ones just didn't come up.
Yeah, inaugural address. I still have it. Yeah, I will never delete that weapon. That unless they bring back the Leviathan raid or a way to get another one of those.
At least you're down 100.
They did bring the hand cannon back from the Leviathan raid, so maybe they can bring back the inaugural address. We'll have to see. And it's not even meta. It's just such a good feeling weapon. Okay. The original Jimmy Rayner. Do you think that Marathon will be monetized as bad as Destiny 2? What do you guys think?
I don't think Destiny 2 is monetized that bad, honestly.
I don't think it is either. And we know his opinion, so we don't need to get into it. But but just to answer the question, yes, it'll be monetized as bad. But I mean, they should make money some other ways too. So yeah go for it. Sorry, not making fun. I think it will be monetized the same way.
If this is bad monetization, we should show them Diablo 4's story.
Yeah, there's some bad ones out there, even worse. But
well, and people can still have a rightful opinion on, Destiny 2 is really bad. Diablo 4 is like horrible, but for some reason, I don't think Destiny 2 is that bad.
Here's what I'll say, and it's the only thing I'm going to say about monetization in Destiny 2. There's no pay to win in Destiny 2 for 99.9%.
Yeah, very rarely.
The harmonic balancers, I think at one point, no, you can't even buy those. Well,
there was a time, remember, too, but then they fixed it where they shotgun scopes or something would shoot further.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Certain ornaments,
Ornaments, yep. Mm-hmm.
That's a very light case. Like I said, 99.9%. It's always cosmetic if you want to spend the money. So, I think they're going to monetize.
But as bad, as much, do you think? Or I actually don't think they will at first because there won't be as much to do probably. But I think it could get to the same level.
I can't. Yeah, I know they have the black market and stuff and areas you can buy and trade stuff. I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't know enough about Marathon yet to make that determination. Mr. Dead Rabbit, light subclasses have more than one super to choose from, but not the darkness ones. What would you like to see super-wise for stasis on each character? Talking to the stasis main here. I think AmazingTacoKing. What one super would you super-wise would you want on each stasis on each character?
I want to see a melee warlock super. I would 100% see a melee warlock super. I don't care if it's
like the drunken Titan one, where you're swiping by with your little your little hook arms and you miss your topic because, oh my gosh, that's what's crazy.
Honestly, you know what would be a really cool super opportunity if just going into stasis, they could do something along the lines of take like the animations of the Harvester Scythe and give us a
Mhm.
stasis Warlock Scythe. I think that'd be
Okay.
kind of cool.
Okay.
You're throwing
Hmm.
you do melee attacks to generate stasis crystals, and then
Mhm.
maybe as your heavy attack you throw out a small projectile that turns into a sentry. I think that'd be
Okay.
honestly awesome.
Okay. You got any ideas, Kingsley?
So the
Anything you
question was,
wanna?
what super would I want to see on
Yeah,
Stasis?
because if you notice, there's extra supers except on stasis. So what supers would you add to the other characters with a stasis subclass?
What? No, I think it was what would I want to see on? Yeah, I wouldn't want to see anything. I don't care about Stasis. I know that's a funny answer, but
It wasn't mainly stasis. It was for darkness subclasses.
Yes,
If you
true.
could see
well,
extra
see, you deleted the question
supers.
early again.
No, I didn't.
thought
I
you
didn't.
said
No,
at
I've
the
got it
end.
right here. Do you got?
Oh, okay.
Um,
Read the last line.
You're right. I did delete it already. Sorry.
I
No,
thought
but
the last
no,
line said something
he
like,
was saying that all the light subclasses have different kinds of
I
supers.
know, I
Yeah.
know, but at the end, didn't he say, "What do you want to see for Stasis"? I thought that was the
Yeah.
actual question.
Yeah. Yeah. What
I don't
would
want
you
to see anything for Stasis. I honestly
It's
don't.
the if it's the FNI show. I'm not a fan. Sorry, Amazing Taco King. Not a fan of stasis. I don't
Sorry,
like
I take questions very literally. I know he said the first part,
I'm
but
realizing that. I'm realizing that.
So for role reversal here, if we got a melee stasis warlock,
Mhm.
would you think it'd be kind of cool to see a ranged Titan stasis Iron Man super?
Yeah.
sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm
Just-
not
just
gonna
not
say I'm
gonna-
gonna be mad if they bring
I'm
something.
just not going to use
but
it.
I'm just probably not gonna use it
I'm
much
just not
either.
going to use it. I'm rather throw a Nova bomb at somebody and obliterate them, vaporize
All
them.
right, well, let's add on to that. What would you want to see for a Strand super?
Well, that's the thing. I guess to answer the first part, the first sentence,
yeah.
I don't care that there's only one for any of the dark. I don't even care that there's multiple for the light.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, but then see, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot now if people would expect it. And it would get to the point of like having too many weapons too. Like, yeah, people would be all temporarily hyped, maybe, but as we've learned, usually a majority, like only one of, even on the light subclasses, usually only one per subclass that is good, anyways. So, do we really need three? Do we really need two? Just I don't know.
All
I'm
I
just
know,
being skeptical here.
all I know is I'm still having nightmares about having to go get the stasis fragments for each of my characters to get it unlocked on my other characters. That was so painful to do. And they have never changed it. You still have to, you don't have to pay for it now, but you still have to go through those missions and repeat them over and over and over and over again to unlock each fragment. Versus on Neptune, you just collect these materials and you can go and just start buying them. That's the way they should have done stasis, but it's too late. It's too late. So I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Sorry. Barrel Barley had a question here. I haven't heard you guys talk much about bows. What is your favorite bow?
None.
No, I've got a favorite. I'm gonna say it. It's Trinity Ghoul. I love using the electrified Trinity Ghoul, especially if I have arc burn on like a Grandmaster or something. I do love to bring that bow in because it does so much add damage. So that would be mine, and it shoots 3 arrows at a time. I mean, come on. What would yours be, Taco?
Mine's probably a tie between the stasis one. I can't remember the name of it. It's Variety something, I think.
Is it the exotic stasis one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that
It's
one.
that. As far as an exotic would go, I would be that or Leviathan's Breath, because Leviathan's Breath was one of the only few exotic weapons that I actually hunted down to get and did that quest.
Oh, actually, if we're talking heavy bow, you know where I'm going, right? It'd have to be Leviathan's Breath. So yeah, I agree. Leviathan Breath is so fun watching that thing explode.
Yeah, it's so interesting too. When I've played with bows a little bit, I don't know where I stand on would I rather have a slower draw and more damage or a faster draw and less damage, but overall, depending on how many ads there are on the field, is it better to have a faster draw versus a slower draw? There was the bow that came out once that was a much faster draw, and not everyone liked it because it wasn't as powerful. But I think I kind of liked it when I played around with it a little bit. So maybe I'll go with that answer. But I don't even remember its name, and I don't really, have a favorite bow.
Well, the Stasis exotic is called Verglass Curve.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I played with that one for quite a bit. I love how it throws the stasis crystals around. I've had fun playing with that one too, but it's not my favorite. I like electrifying everything.
Yeah. Out of non-exotic bows, I would say it'd probably be the one from season of it's not Risen, but the Lightfall season, where you were the Queen's Guard. I can't remember the name of the season now. But that crafting bow, that was really good. It's got a lot of fun perks they can mess around with.
Okay.
You remember the name at all? Oh, no worries.
I'm trying to look it up. I don't think I have it. No,
because there was one bow. I think
is it
seasonal one?
Is it the exotic? Is it the exotic?
No, it's not an exotic. It's
okay,
legendary.
it's not exotic. Okay, never mind. You lost me with legendary.
It is.
That's the thing too. Oh, say it again.
Raconteur.
Oh,
Raconteur.
Yeah, Raconteur.
I don't know how you would say that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that has a fun perk combo.
Let's end on this one for a Destiny question. It's from Odo Yukamura, and it's actually a good question. It's kind of dancing around what we've been talking about all night tonight. Question for the show: do you guys want Destiny 3 to be just the same as Destiny 2 but bigger, or do you want something else out of Destiny 3? Example: do you want them to copy Space Marines 2 or Call of Duty Warzone? What do you think, Taco?
I definitely would not want to see a Warzone edition of Destiny of any kind. Honestly, that sounds terrible in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
But as far as like improving upon it, I mean, there's so many things in so many directions they could go, and I would love to see what they could come up with. Because I mean, overall, like Bungie, even though they're having some issues and they're on some trying times lately, they have a pretty good track record of pushing the envelope per iteration. So, like going from Destiny to Destiny 2, mantling. No one probably thought that was going to be one of the greatest things ever. But sometimes you go back to some of these old school games and you can't do basic quality of life stuff that you're used to now. It's just like, oh God, that kills me sometimes.
Mantling was huge. We definitely needed mantling. It was so bad in Destiny 1 to hit up near the side of a cliff when you're jumping as a warlock and just fall straight down. It's just crazy. What do you think, Kingsley? Bigger?
I think I understand this question. Yeah, I definitely want it to be. I don't want it to be the same but bigger. I want changes. I want more changes than Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 had, but it doesn't need to be like a totally different game. The more changes you can make that still keep a base feel to it, then you're setting yourself up better for long term. It being fresh and new for people. So anywhere from the technical side of a whole new engine. I mean, they can have the Tiger engine upgraded like what Marathon did, but it needs to be much, much better. And then on the content side, all new planets, locations, whatever, all new weapons, start over, reset, and enough changes. We talked about they can't really do this with the current engine. Astrocross was talking about and stuff like have things like loot things that explode out of enemies from just random things as we're in activities. Have some other type of movement tech, omnidirectional, whatever. I mean, we're kind of have really good movement in Destiny, but I do want to see a good amount of changes, more than just same as D2 but bigger.
For me, it's all about systems and progression. That's what's going to have to improve for me. They're going to have a more innovative progression, because that's what fuels me to play. And that's what fueled me to play multiple accounts, even because I loved ranking up my Guardian. That was the fun part about playing this game. But time starts eluding you and you don't have the time that you used to. Ever since I've become a content creator and a podcaster, my time playing Destiny has really diminished, because it takes a lot of your time to prepare for a show and stuff. And when you see your friends out there playing during the day and you're like, damn, I got to work. I want to play, but I can't. But little things like that. But better systems. They need to improve on the quality of life stuff that we hated in Destiny 2. Obviously, that's a big jump up. but the progression system has to give me that dopamine, man. It's got to give me that feel that I'm getting stronger. And I would really be worried if they went to another engine that the Destiny gun feel would change. That's my biggest fear, but I'd have to see. But that's what I would think.
Yeah. You can, gunplay isn't totally directed on the engine. It's
Yeah.
more, the engine's more just how you can code the game and how easy it is to make changes and how easy it is to make things look good. So,
Yeah. And Jimmy Rayner says, do you think there should be a marathon only question section in the Discord with the hype ramping up and the alpha running currently? We're not doing anything yet until we see where this game goes. And Bungie's got to let us play it first before we can even decide what to do as far as our Discord. We do have a marathon talk channel where people can talk marathon. But for now, I mean, like I said, I haven't even played the alpha, so I can't.
yeah. And
can't
if Marathon gets really popular, it needs to be a separate podcast. I'm not going to be interested in talking a lot of Marathon every single week.
And it's PvP. It's not really up your alley either. So unless this really just hooked you and you're now a revised PvP player, but you know what
but
you
we wouldn't
like.
have time also in one podcast to talk about Destiny and Marathon.
It's
every
already
single week.
2+ hours long every week. So, I mean, we already pack a lot of it in as we do already.
I know we're talking Marathon right now, but it's more just big level stuff as it comes up. But
Yep. All right, let's end it on there. We've got some other questions left. We'll leave those for next week and go from there. But thanks everyone for putting your questions in. And like I said, if you ever have a question for the show, it's podcast questions, and we have it broken down into non-Destiny and Destiny questions. And you can leave them there anytime. And I usually give them a thumbs up saying, hey, I see it. I see the question, and it's definitely going to be entered in the show. So keep that in mind as well. All right. Elmer Fudd Games. Take it away, sir. This is where he goes into his little song. We get to pick our music for our playlist. Thank you, Mr. Fudd. This is the time of our show, and we only do it on our guest episodes where we actually pick some music to add to our Guardian Downcast show playlist. It's just a little something that myself and sometimes Kingsley add to our playlist, and something we'd like to listen to, and we hope that you might follow along and listen to it as well. Just search for Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify, and we do have the same playlist in Apple Music as well. The links are always in our show notes down below if you ever want to follow along and see what we have. We now have 1,234 songs representing all of us and all of our past guests, and ever since July of 2019, it's kind of a time capsule. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm going to go to our guest first, AmazingTacoKing. What did you add to our playlist tonight, and why, sir?
This has been one of my favorite songs probably since, I was in school. That's how old I am, surprisingly, even though I don't sound it. But I put Tears Don't Fall by Bullet for My Valentine. And the reason I put it in there is I did scroll through the playlist, and I noticed, had a lot of Avenged Sevenfold, some great 80s metal band. I'm a huge metalhead. Metalcore, is kind of where I've mostly kind of stemmed to these last few years. But I'm a huge Slipknot fan. And the main reason is, one, love the band. I have all their albums. I've listened to everything they got. And then two, I'm actually going to be seeing them on their Poison Ascendancy tour coming up soon. They're coming to Atlanta next month, May, and I'm going to see them. Trivium's, the other headliner of that tour. Looking forward to that. And I actually got tickets for me and a few of my friends, and I got full meet greet packages for the bands. So 2 of us are going to go meet Trivium, 2 of us are going to go meet Bullet. I'm going to go meet Bullet.
Trivium. Nice. Well, tell Matt I said hey. Let's see, for my song choice of the week, this is another indie rock band. I can't remember where I heard them. I might have been just sampling some new music out lately, but this is a band from Wilmslow, Cheshire, UK. They formed in 98. Kind of like I said, they have a new album out, and they haven't even released the album yet. They just released some singles. The new album is called Constellations for the Lonely, and the song I chose is off their new album called Cold Dreaming. It's just something about this. It has a cool sound. It's an easygoing kind of rock vibe that the chorus is fantastic in it. I judge a lot of songs on how it goes to its chorus. And the instrumentation's really good. There's some strings and stuff in it as well. So has that big full sound when you listen to it. I like new music. I like this kind of song. It's kind of right up my alley, style wise. So the band to check out is called Doves. Another yet underrated UK band out there. So that's my pick for this week. All right. I think that is it, guys. Am I forgetting anything here? I think that is our show.
Oh, you're forgetting how awesome our guest was. No,
Of course. Of course.
We had a great discussion with everything.
Yeah,
tonight.
we did. And my son definitely made it spicy tonight. That's for sure. Thank you, Amazing Taco King, for stopping by tonight, man. How can people reach you out there in the interwebs if you're so inclined?
Yeah, I'm Amazing Taco King and pretty much all the places, but I really don't use any of the places. So mostly you'll just find me in Discord. No, I don't really interact too often, but I'm always lurking. So if you ever want to reach out, just message me, and who knows, maybe we'll form a new raid team.
Sounds good.
I would look forward to that.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd look forward to that as well. Well, all right. That's it, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. That is our show. We thank you for stopping out live and talking with us in the chat, in the Discord, in the Twitch and YouTube channels as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night right there, guys. Thank you very much for stopping out, and we will see you guys in the Discord. Later, Guardians.
Have a good one.
You timed that perfect that time.
Yeah, I waited for you. I'll just wait for you each time. Or it can be the joke to actually stumble over each other. Some podcasts will do that as a joke purposely,
Where the